welcome to a new episode of the Game Informer Show. I'm Ben Hansen here with Imran Khan, Skyping in from San Francisco.
Howdy.
Howdy. Beautiful. We have Ben Reeves.
Hey.
Skyping in from the other side of the table, and then we have Kimberly Wallace.
Hey, hey, hey.
We have a hell of a show. This is
we
it.
do.
This is like the first big show of 2019.
Oh.
Those episodes before this, they were fine.
This is pressure.
We
They
were
didn't count.
stretching. Leo was in the booth the whole time, just making the stretching motion. Now we got some meat on this bone,
Oh, oof.
and we're going to dine. Dine like beasts today. This is weird. No, we're talking about Kingdom Hearts 3 finally. Kim, you finished it.
Yes, I did.
Oh my God. Let's talk all about it within reason. The Resident Evil 2, Ben Reeves.
Yeah, dine on some brains.
All
Yay,
right.
I'm excited for that one too.
Those games are going to go head to head, and we're going to choose which game is actually better by the end of this podcast. So it should be fun. And then Reiner's going to talk about Ace Combat 7. We're going to talk about a new strategy game from the designer of Civ 5 called At the Gates that JV enjoyed. And then Reeves, I would argue, I don't know if you've heard this theory, that every game is interesting.
I've heard about this before.
Okay, we're going to try to bring it back. Another round of Every Game is Interesting, where it's a competition where we have the full list of every game that Game Informer's ever reviewed, which is thousands upon thousands. We'll get the exact number coming up in a bit. And then we're going to randomly have those assigned to us. And then it's basically a speech competition. You have 3 minutes to make your case for why this game is interesting.
Can we make every podcast segment interesting?
That is the challenge ultimately here. And then community emails in the back half of the show, back of the box trivia. It's been a while, so we should do it. It'll be a fun themed round. Imran, I think you're going to compete for the first time in that, right?
Ooh.
I'm very excited. I intend to destroy everybody.
I really think you're going to be great at this.
Maybe. I have a lot of knowledge, but I don't know that I can summon it that quickly.
Okay. Well, look,
So
you're
let's
going
see.
against
I need
Reeves
to take
and
a cue
Kyle.
from him with
Yeah,
this
whatever.
confidence right off the gate. Like,
Yeah.
oh.
Look, he's an industry man. Some people are game playing people. Some people are industry people. Imran's an industry person. He just loves the industry more than playing games. Is that fair to say, Imran?
I'd say about equal. Like yesterday I was talking to Kyle, and I was like, Kyle was covering for me because I was sick. And I came back to do the NPD reports because like sales analysis is fun. He's like, what are you talking about?
You just said sales analysis is fun, and I don't think I've heard very many people in my life say that.
No, I get it. Matt Piscatello over at MPDs, man. He's like Santa Claus coming in with those stats. It's fascinating. What was the craziest report from that this week? Something about Smash Brothers outselling everything known to man?
It broke the record for the highest selling exclusive debut ever, which includes like every Halo, every PS2, Grand Theft Auto, basically any exclusive.
For console
that
exclusive.
ever came out. Yeah.
For 1 month.
Yes.
In the first
For the
month,
first month.
yes.
So it's all around like 3.5 million.
Jesus.
That's insane.
How much of a bonus do you think Sakurai gets for that kind of performance?
I mean, not enough of one, I don't think.
I mean, he's pretty tired now, isn't he? Like, this is probably finally. Hopefully, they let him rest a little bit. I don't know.
Put
I don't
him
know.
back
The
in his
man,
coffin,
he
please.
never. Yeah,
They'll
he
keep
never
making games.
rests. You can tell too because he just talks about it in interviews. He's like, I'm very tired now.
Yeah, no developer talks about being more tired than Sakurai.
I think one of the most interesting stats was like if you had any question that the Switch was doing well, that the Mario Kart on the Switch is like the second best racing game of all time, selling racing game of all time.
Which is crazy, like beating Gran Turismo 2
Yeah,
or 3.
all that
like,
stuff, and it's like a game that was originally on another console. Like
Hang
it's a
on, is
re-release.
this both versions of Mario Kart 8?
No, it's just
They're
the
grouped
Switch
together.
version.
Oh, they're grouped
Oh,
together,
really?
says Imran.
Yes.
Okay,
Still-
the tweet I saw said something else, but it must have been incorrect.
Okay, interesting. It's still
But
absolutely
still,
nuts.
Still
nobody
doing
bought that
amazing.
Wii U version, so it's mostly the Switch.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Power of the Switch.
yeah, I think everybody's playing Super Mario Brothers Deluxe at this point. The new Super Mario Brothers games that everybody didn't care about back on the Wii U, but now it's like, wow,
I'm
You'd
going to
be
take a
surprised.
deep
Those games
cut
have
here.
sold like 50 million copies.
Jesus.
They should
was
bring
this-
more games from the Wii U over, like Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
That has to be coming, right?
They have to do that. That game was so good, and not enough people played it. And now that like Fire Emblem is so popular, it would just
Yeah.
make sense for that crossover with
Also-
SMT to come in.
It should be the first case of them going back to their code name and calling it Fire Emblem Cross Persona or Shin Megami Tensei.
I had to sit
like
there
they
for a
originally
second
did.
and think of the name because it's been so long since I've thought about that game.
Yeah,
but-
that game was cool for sure.
Yeah, I
I think it would
liked it.
sell gangbusters on the Switch. Other things that are coming to the Switch, but they're on PC right now, Slay the Spire, which is a game that Dan Tack is reviewing currently. It's been in early access forever, and Dan has been red hot on it. He says he's put 150 hours into it.
What?
But he said at least 40 of those hours were him just like pumping his fists in the air because he was so excited about the game he was playing. But it's like a turn-based RPG. Your moves are cards. Is that right, Leo? I'm trying to remember what it looks like.
Yeah, it's a deck builder.
Okay.
So you're playing a few cards per round, and you're trying to build the most fun deck you can. You're specking towards having a really poison-heavy build or strength-heavy and just trying to get
This
some really
just
strong
sounds
combos.
So Dan-tack right now.
But it doesn't look that bad.
Is it a roguelike?
It's a roguelike, yeah. It's basic arithmetic,
Okay.
building
Oh,
these.
it's got math. It's Dan-tack all the way.
Really, though, Dan Tech recorded a new gameplay today, which, by the way, on YouTube has one of my favorite thumbnails of all time, Leo. I just saw that. It's very
Thank
good.
you.
So you
It
can
was a
check
fun
that
episode.
out. Yeah, for a deep dive with Dan Tech. Also, Suriel got to play Mortal Kombat 11. And he posted a new gameplay today video where he dives into the specifics because that guy knows his fighting games, and it's interesting to hear his take. Oh, actually, I have his take right here. I had him write it up
Hot
so we can
take?
read this off.
Read it.
He says, "Hey, I really hope NetherRealm or tournament organizers integrate custom variations into competitive play because running different builds of the same character sounds awesome. I'm into most of the other changes because they make it easier to use all the mechanics at play and make for some great on-the-fly thinking during matches. Shoutouts to former intern Michael Larry, who I fought at the Mortal Kombat event."
Oh,
Oh,
shout
but
out.
did he win? Did he win? That's the true question.
does not
did
say,
he
so I'll
didn't say
assume
it.
that Michael
I'm assuming
crushed
he
him.
lost. He
Yeah.
lost. He totally lost.
But also we have an interview with like Ed Boon that Cyril did a great job on.
Oh,
all
yeah,
that
he
stuff.
did.
Okay, here we go. Finally, Kingdom Hearts 3.
I know. I've been keeping like my anticipation back. I'm not gonna scream. I'm gonna be
Yeah. We
even
kept,
tempered about this.
It's that bad, huh?
we kept people waiting a little bit on the podcast, but I think they're used to it at this point. So Kingdom Hearts 3, Kim, how is it?
It's delightful.
Delightful.
Probably. So I'm somebody who've been following this series. I've played like every entry that's come out for it. Every little loose end that like is so well wrapped up in this game.
Really?
And I was surprised because even I was like, how are they going to do this? How are they going to integrate all? And it's just done in such an amazing, like badass way.
So it's
too.
the modern Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah.
It's impossible, but somehow they basically
you're
wrap
used
everything
to
up.
those. Yeah, exactly. I was going to do a Metal Gear comparison.
Yeah.
But I love the new worlds, the Pixar worlds, especially like the detail. And I know they did a lot of back and forth with Nomura, making sure they got it just right. And there's cool little nods to it throughout. I really love the Monsters Inc. world, especially because Boo is just so cute in video game form.
So that's the best world, Monsters Inc.
She was a monster. in
That
the
was my
actual
favorite. But here's what else is cool. Every world, I feel like they went out of their way to do something different. So, like, yes, there's Pirates of the Caribbean again, but you're in ship battles like Assassin's Creed where you got to brace for impact and, like, shoot cannons out from afar. And it's actually a lot of fun.
Okay, good, because that type of variety could go either way, right?
Yeah, no, but the variety is really good here. Big Hero 6, that's one of my favorite worlds too. You're fighting a lot in the air, scaling buildings, like it's just every area you go to. Oh, Toy Story, you're in giant mech toys fighting other mechs, and there's also like all these weird like little mobile games and stuff. They made like a Final Fantasy version of like Sora, and you can play the actual game on the arcade.
Stop.
thing.
Okay, what are you talking about? They made a Final Fantasy version?
Yeah, okay. All of a sudden I enter the Toy Story world and there's this weird cutscene that I'm like, what is going on here? This looks like it's Final Fantasy. Like what's and the cut is weird because you're just like, what? And then you realize it's an actual like video game that people play, and Sora's in the game, and so it's done in Final Fantasy flavor, and then you can play it.
Okay,
Like
hang on.
in fiction, in this world, he's a star in a video game.
Yes, in the Toy Story world, it's
Okay, stop. I'm so confused. Final Fantasy flavor. Does it look like an
it
old
looks-
game?
No, it looks like out of Final Fantasy 15. It's so weird. But it's so great at the same time. Like there's little things like that to find. Like, I mean, you go to a world like Frozen, and yes, you hear the whole song of Let It Go.
Perfect.
They had to do it,
Okay.
right?
Reeves is making a face like he can't let something go here.
Oh, well, I was just thinking about like the Final Fantasy version of Sora is confusing to me because he already looks like a Final Fantasy character in my mind.
No, but this is a
That's
different
because of the
take.
hair.
Oh,
right?
okay, yeah. I
Okay,
get it.
so
This is
I get
updating
it
him
now.
like to the Final Fantasy 15 engine, but that's a very minor part. I just wanted to speak to like how many extra little things they put in the game.
Totally.
I played like the first two Kingdom Hearts, and so since this is number 3, I assume I'm completely up to date.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, the side story, those like when you go and visit like each kingdom, always kind of felt like a side story in those first two games. Is it still kind of like that? And they're still like obsessed with like the main plot of Sora and his adventure.
So
Like, how
Kind of.
relevant are those?
Okay, so yes, you get your own contained stories when you visit the world within that world, but there's also other characters coming in that relate to the main story and answer questions about the main story. But mainly, when you finish a world, you get a long cutscene that really advances the plot and shows you what's going on. So don't expect like too much to happen within those worlds, but it still is relevant to the plot. So they're fun in that regard.
I don't want any spoilers here. No one wants spoilers. But this game has been covered to death. They've released so many mediocre trailers leading up to this big reveal of the game, which is great. Which is great.
All right.
But do you feel like you were still surprised by this game? Have they been saving a lot of worlds without getting into specifics? Have they been holding some things back?
There are surprises. I don't feel like they held too much back, to be honest with you. But in how everything like comes together, and like you'll there's some nice surprises in there that I didn't see coming. Like I said, when a game is goes on for this long, like think about it, 2006 was Kingdom Hearts 2, and then they released all those side games. So I think 8 in total, counting like that mobile version, which they also incorporate the mobile version in a really clever way. Yeah.
Incorporate meaning just like tip of the cap?
There's a good, nice little tip of the cap. Like you don't have to know everything. I want to put this out there too, that I know people are not, maybe not dedicated, not crazy. I'm looking for the word to describe me and my fandom for this, but who haven't played. Obsessive, there you go. Who haven't played every entry. There is a memory archive on the front screen that you can go into, and it's videos. They play like little episodes to catch you up on the main threads. So there's like 4 or 5 of them. And I watched them because part of me when I was playing this game was I was thinking to myself, oh God, I would like, there's so much, it's so much more impactful if you've been following and playing them all. Like, you know, what happened in Birth by Sleep with Aqua Terra Ventus. That's all what's going on with Roxas and Naminé and Shion and like all these characters too from Organization 13 that like you might have missed if you didn't play those handheld entries.
Yeah.
How do you keep all that in your head? Because I feel like 8 games is a lot.
I was
content.
surprised at like how
There's
much
only like
I actually
3 Hunger Game books, and I
remembered.
can't
Well,
keep those straight.
I replayed, but to be fair, I replayed Dream Drop Distance and Birth by Sleep like right before I played this game.
Gotcha.
So I
Which are
had
the two where it gets really confusing.
Yes, exactly. And
Okay, speaking of confusing, Imran Khan, you're a huge fan of this stuff too. I saw a tweet of yours the other day. Maybe it was a retweet, I forget, but it blew my mind. You said that in Kingdom Hearts, the main protagonist of the series has never met the antagonist.
Yeah, I think I retweeted somebody. Yeah, Sora and Xehanort have never actually met. They've been in the same room, but Sora was unconscious when that happened.
Does that stand up until Kingdom Hearts 3, Kim?
I don't know.
Okay, interesting.
I'm
so
being
weird.
extra cautious on spoilers because I really feel like this is best experienced going in, just knowing that you are going to get answers, but I'm not even going to hint to what those answers are.
Please
or
don't.
those.
We appreciate
I
it.
feel like if you explain spoilers for Kingdom Hearts, they wouldn't make sense to most people.
Sure.
True.
Is this a game for people like me who only played 1 and 2?
So here's what I'll say. Stuff is explained. I don't know if it's explained in a way that's going to make sense. And as I was watching the cutscenes, sometimes at points I was like, God, if I wasn't following this, I don't know if I would like even have any idea. But you can still enjoy the story on a very like superficial isn't the word I want, but you know, at a very like low, like a level of, oh, I know this.
Spectacle.
Yeah, I know this
Okay.
is like good versus evil. I'm getting to visit Disney worlds. I also want to talk about how the combat is really improved because I
Sure.
still think there's a lot there for people if they're just like, hey, I'm a fan of Disney. I want to see what's going on. And then you just know it's at its simplest core. It's light versus dark. So just keep that in mind. And they need to hang in balance. And
Got it.
I'm curious about the combat though too, like because the combat was fine in those old games.
It's so different now. I feel like, you know, I've done a lot of interviews with Nomura leading up to this game, and one thing he said to me that's always stood out, and I think sticks in with this battle system. He's like, I wanted players to think that now nothing is impossible in this series, that like anything can happen, and so now your Keyblade transforms into like yo-yos and giant hammers and drills and other things as you go. You have Keyblade transformations. On top of that, you have attractions. So like my favorite is the Mad Teacups, where you can just teacup your way through enemies and knock them off. And then there's team attacks like Woody and Buzz on a rocket with you, or you can chuck Goofy at enemies. And
Okay, hang on a
there
second.
is a lot to this, but it's so much fun because there's always something popping up on the screen where you're like, ooh, now I can do this. I kept like shouting to my fiance, look what I can do. Come in here, watch this. Like I haven't done
Mad
that in a
TV sketch.
while
Yeah.
in the game. So
this is very important. When Woody and Buzz are on that rocket, is Woody's face doing the like rocket face from Toy Story?
not as
Okay.
not as
But still, attention to detail in all other
there
places.
is.
That's fine.
There's good stuff. So the combat feels really good. The only thing people might not like is that there is so much going on all at once, and
Okay.
but it's not anything that's like hard to grasp. I want to like get that through. Like you're not going to be overwhelmed in the way. The only thing that I feel like is lost is your really good sense of progression is really up. You can upgrade your Keyblades which unlock extra bonuses and transformations and all that. Before it was like when I leveled up and I got to a new like magic spell or, counter or whatever, like I felt, oh, this is game changing. Like this is going to make the play different. Now the
Yeah.
play feels different, but it's all tied to the Keyblades more so than being like, I got this magic attack. There's still magic. Like if you use enough magic, you open up like a third tier of like this, of a more powerful like fire spell, and then you can use that for free. So there's a lot to experiment with, and so you just have a lot of options in battle and you can get as deep into it as you want. I like having the attractions the best, like the pirate ship just knocking into people with
That's
it.
fun.
And there's like my favorite though is the blaster. So you get that blaster game from Disney, the Toy Story world, where you get to like just shoot at everything. So
Okay.
you go into like this and you just get to shoot down enemies. It's fun.
That's why they have crazy optional boss fights.
Yes, actually, I finished the game and then it was like, oh, well, now you have tougher versions of all these you can go back to. So
Is it a
And
spoiler?
Kingdom Hearts 2 had a really rough one of those where you fought like all of Organization 13 again, and they were much harder.
well, there's another knock at the end of the game. The boss fights are very repetitive, and I will say
Okay.
that to a point where I was just like, all right, we could have trimmed some of this down a bit here. But
Yeah.
other than that, like like I said, the game is not perfect. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying from a standpoint of somebody who's been following it for all these years, I was very impressed with just how satisfied I felt.
It's
by
everything
it.
you wanted.
Well, nothing's everything, but it's pretty good. It's pretty, like I said, I don't want to say, I was talking to someone this morning. I'm like, it's more that the game's not perfect, but even when I sit here and I think, I'm like, what more could I have asked for? I'm not, who knows?
Playing it in 2008.
Well, would it have been this game in 2008?
No
I don't
way.
think so.
No
I
way.
was just surprised because I didn't expect those side stories to really pay off much at all. Like, I expected Birth by Sleep because that one is a little meaty, but like even all these like, what is it, 358 over 2, Recoded, like everything
It's
is
all
wrapped
important.
up into it. Well, it's wrapped into there. You can gauge importance. Like you'll understand things better if you played those games.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think there's a lot to smile about when you play this game. There's a lot to love about it. It does really interesting things with some like fan favorite characters. I know people are really worried about Aqua. I know they're wondering what Kyrie's been up to. Like everything gets answered.
Do you think
Okay.
Kingdom Hearts is too consumed with its own like mythos at some point? Because like when I Square, when I first heard about Kingdom Hearts, Square's doing this like Disney RPG. That sounds awesome.
Totally.
I want to hang out with all these Disney characters RPG. Now it just feels like this weird Square RPG, and then the Disney characters are shoved in there on the side. That's how I feel.
I mean,
like
they're
as a Disney
still
fan, that's why I want to come to
important, the
this.
Disney characters, to like how you experience the game. The only thing I will say that I noticed in this entry more than others, and they've been doing this for a while, but they have really moved away from Final Fantasy in it.
Oh, really?
People are really disappointed about
that's
this.
a
And
bummer.
I was talking about this morning in the office. I'm like, there's obviously still Moogles are in there. Like in certain worlds, you'll spot like iconic like emblems from the series and stuff. But as for characters being involved in that main story like they were before in some of the worlds, that's not there. So don't go into it with the expectation that this is going to connect Final Fantasy. Now, I haven't like finished the game, and I still want to go through some of those optional boss fights. So I don't know if some of the Final Fantasy characters are like that, because Cloud has obviously been in those boss fights quite a bit in the series, and Sephiroth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I assume they're there in that maybe that capacity. I just don't know yet. But as far as to like tying into the main narrative,
Yeah.
it's really not there.
You have a sense of why that is? Because like they were very important in Kingdom Hearts 2, and then I guess they're just kind of normally doesn't want to do it anymore.
Well, I actually asked him this at E3, and I got a feeling from E3 that it wasn't going to be a big deal. He said he felt in the beginning of the series that he really had to incorporate Final Fantasy into it, and now he feels like the series has kind of become its own thing, that it doesn't need that reliance of him shoehorning it in, because it's like even...
I like when the Disney brands aren't enough. We had to shoehorn in Final Fantasy to bring people in. But
Yeah.
I get also probably personally, he's had just an ass full of Final Fantasy at this point, right?
Well, and I even said, like, I didn't find it... It's funny because when I tell people in the office, they're like, oh my God, how could they not have that? And then I was just like, you know what? It didn't like affect my enjoyment of the story, and nor was I like, oh, I really missed that Cloud like reference there of Squall or whatever. Like it didn't seem. Think if they would have tried to put it in, it would felt shoehorned, or like just like, oh, let's just bring this character up here to bring him up,
Did Lance Bass voice Sephiroth in all the Kingdom Hearts, or just the first one?
I actually don't remember, and that's
Okay.
a hot
I remember
take
that,
there.
yeah.
Do you know Mark Hamill is a voice?
He personally.
Master Eriquis? Yeah.
Oh, that's an original character?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's Sakakuchi, but like
Oh,
the
that's
Keyblade
right.
Master.
Okay, yeah.
I was just talking to Kyle about this morning, that like apparently Sora is still voiced by Haley Joel Osment.
Yes. What?
Which is insane because he's like a 30-year-old man now.
So he still does a good young voice, but what was funny was I was watching something this morning, some cutscenes from it, and so hearing him in like the first game speak, and I was like, oh gosh, yes, it is a big change, but you don't really think about it unless...
Can you hear him inhaling from the helium balloon before every
pretty
take?
much. It's got to be hard for him to just like make his voice so like...
It's really weird in Dream Drop Distance because he's still young Sora in that game, but he's like old man Osment voice.
Oh, God. Okay, because that's like a
that's
prequel or
interesting.
something?
They age him down. It's confusing.
All right, I won't try and understand it. It sounds good. Well, who's the worst voice in the game? Do they
Oh,
try and go
God.
for one that they just completely whiff on? Like they're Johnny Depp or they're Woody?
Dude,
or
Johnny
they-
Depp is pretty good. Oh, you know what it is? Whoever tries to do... What's the girl in Pirates, Keira Knightley's character?
Yeah. It's
They-
Keira Knightley's character is actually her character's name.
They actually did. I'm guessing. I'm almost 100% sure they didn't get her because the accent is just not great. and
We
the
actually have a
voice-
clip of that character. Leo in the booth, do you want to roll it?
Where's all the rum?
Wow, not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. How long is this game?
Okay. So it depends on how thorough you want to be. I was rushing through to get to the end and then do a lot of the optional stuff after. And the game can take you anywhere from like 30, 35 to 50 hours. And that depends on how much you want to explore. And like I said, the gummy ship is back, so there's more to do there.
But did you? Sorry. Did you see all the worlds then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I've seen all the worlds. I've unlocked, like I said, I've now gone back after I finished. I think when the credits rolled, it was like 35 for me. And that was me just trying to like put the pedal to the metal because I wasn't sure how long it was. And I want to make sure I finished it before we put up the review. And then now I've gone back and I've done a lot of optional stuff. Like I missed on the first go because unless you go back to Traverse Town, you can miss the Winnie the Pooh stuff, which is just the mini games. Yeah, you
Can't
can
miss that.
invest. They brought Remy from Ratatouille.
Oh,
in.
really?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, to make like so invest in cooking. By the way, tip from Kim Wallace here. The mini games are dumb. They're always dumb. I don't know. Like they're just some are fun, but the cooking is actually worth investing your time in because it gives you battle perks, so you can like amplify your what is this? Your HP and you can get like more magic and stuff. I don't know what you can be
I
strong.
was raising my hand ready to ask a question when
Oh,
you were
you can
done with
be
your point.
you can be strong. Like you can gain strength. And so anything that helps you in Kingdom Hearts is good. And like you find ingredients as you're in these worlds anyways. And then you're upgrading this restaurant called the Bistro for not Donald, sorry.
The Bistro?
Scrooge. The Bistro.
Is it spelled like Beast?
No.
Kim, over here.
Oh, boy.
Over
Okay.
here. Real quick question. Ben Hansen from Game Informer. Does Remy get in Sora's hair and
Yes!
pull it?
Oh,
There you go.
spoilers.
Sorry.
Good
It's
job,
there.
games.
It's there.
Imran, as the world's biggest fan, without spoiling anything, do you have any burning questions?
Basically, I just kind of want to know if there's like a weird world this time, because like Kingdom Hearts 2 had like
Yes.
Timeless River. Okay, good. That's what I've been concerned about, because they haven't shown it yet. The game obviously leaked a long time ago and no one said anything. So I was really concerned of whether or not there was like just an off-the-wall world.
There are like original worlds, and one of them is quite weird. But you get through it, and then the other one, you get through it, and the other one is actually really cool. And I wish they let you, they incorporated it more into the main story because it is so cool. So that's all I'll leave it at.
Interesting. What's the deal with when the game leaked? Nomura went out there and said like, "Hey, you won't know. Like the ending can't be spoiled because we're going to patch it in."
Yes, so there's a secret ending that's being patched in. There's also an epilogue that's being patched in.
At launch or like?
At launch.
Okay.
Because they don't want anything getting out there. But I will say you still basically have the gist of what happened at the end without those. Like,
Okay.
you don't need them. But if you're a diehard fan like I am,
You have
and
to
you're
play
like,
online.
where the heck are we going next? And they kind of leave one thing up in the air at the end.
Wait,
you'll
this
wanna
isn't
watch
the end? I thought this was the end of Kingdom Hearts.
Is the end of the Xehanort saga.
Does that mean the Sora saga?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, got it. I'm not going to be condescending. That sounds great. Okay,
It's wonderful.
your review is at time of this recording still in process, but it'd probably be on the site right now if you go to GameInformer.com and see
Yes,
that
it
number.
is. It is. You can read all my gushing and minor gripes about it there.
Okay, but overall, is it fair to call you red hot on Kingdom Hearts 3?
I loved it. I'm really interested what other fans are going to think and say, and I'm kind of just excited for it to finally just hit the market.
Yeah.
and get all the weird theories and stuff that maybe I didn't think of while I was playing, or find out more of the secrets, because that's always fun too, is just finding those bosses and hidden mini games and just fun nods. So
Yeah.
If you had to put a date on when Kingdom Hearts 4 would come out,
Oh God, I deleted this line from him. Like, I'm excited to see what happens next. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, as long as this one. And then I was like, let's just not even go there. I have a feeling too.
oh, we went there.
What's good about this is that because they waited, I feel like they're able to get better worlds. And I wonder too, like, as more movies come out, if it's
Right.
better for them to go. Like,
I want them to get Star Wars Episode 13's world in the next one, so I really hope they
would
take their
love
time.
to have a lightsaber Keyblade, and I would love to have Rey by my side. I know it's probably a nightmare to get that license.
It is a
in the
miracle
game.
that this game exists still after Disney and the weird
Yep.
EA deals and all this stuff. Like the fact that this game can still exist is crazy. They did it.
They
They
did
did
it.
it.
I'm
Yeah, I
a bit
think
surprised there's no like Iron Man
That's-
summon. Like that seems like a slam dunk.
You know what? The summons are very minor in this game. Again, another option you have, but they're Ariel, Scar. Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh, okay, that's fun.
Stitch. There's fun things you can bring in. And I mean, those are very deadly, so you obviously want to use them in boss battles. But
I
Nothing
almost,
deadlier than a Stitch.
I almost wonder if the Marvel stuff would be like a separate marketing licensing department within Disney. Or
I think it
something.
is. It's
oh
a
yeah,
little bit of a separate
I'm
entity
sure
in
it's
there.
it's insane.
Probably be even harder to deal
I'm
with.
surprised they even pull off Pixar. To be honest with you.
Yeah, no, it's super cool for sure. Hey, Kingdom Hearts 3, it's out.
Love
it's
it.
out. They did it. They really did it. Right now, Imran and Kim, do you guys want to clap out of here?
Let's do it.
Sure.
Ho, Leo out of the booth.
Thank you.
And Andrew Reiner out of his executive suite.
Yes.
Here we go. Ben Reeves still here. Resident Evil 2.
They
remake.
did it.
The past
They
is alive.
finally made it to 2.
Reeves, what did you score this remake?
What did I start with that? All right,
Please.
9.5.
That's amazing.
It's great.
Jeez.
It is more than I dreamed of, honestly.
Really?
'Cause, yeah, like that Resident Evil remake for the GameCube is one of my favorite games of all time, and I liked the original version of 2 better than the original version of 1.
Okay.
So I'm like, the stakes were high for me. Like going in, I'm like, they're gonna F this up somehow
Yes.
because Resident Evil has not been the pinnacle it once was.
But after 7, it was fun to see enthusiasm of like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think they're doing the right thing here.
Yeah, it's moving in the right direction. And then everything we saw leading up to this was great. And then it was even better than I expected.
Resident Evil 7 was the Terminator 1 to this game's Terminator 2.
Ooh, that's a good.
Hold on.
Hold on. Can I go redo my review?
That's a bold claim.
I got to know.
I'll say it.
Leo, were you alive when the first Resident Evil 2 came out?
We were birthed on the same day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like Claire and Leon.
Well, Leon. There it
you go.
is.
Close. That's crazy. So you're loving this game too, Leo.
Yes, I am.
What do you like about it?
I had never played the originals, and I got on the series with 4, liked 4 and 5, defended parts of 6 even.
Wow.
7
We got a real live one here.
7 had a lot of interesting things about it, and this game really, to me, seems like the best parts of 7. All of the exploration and puzzles and the feeling of it, the claustrophobia and the really haunted house vibe of being
Yeah.
trapped in this place. Except the combat is better. And the third-person stuff works really well.
Okay, because it harkens back to 4. Does it feel at all like 4?
No.
No. Why is
Yeah,
it?
I would say, well, in the sense that it's a third-person shooter, but like the shooting does not feel like 4, which I think is where you're probably
That
gonna go.
moment in time where you have your gun drawn and you're aiming at a zombie's head and you can't line it up and you feel like time has stopped and
Yeah.
it's slowly shuffling forward towards you and you're shooting and missing, that is like Resident Evil 4 where you're just like panicking, yet it's like seriously like the steamroller from Austin Powers coming at you to run you over.
right.
And the bullets matter so much. Every
you're-
time you
exactly,
miss,
you're-
just a dagger in your heart.
Backing up and you hit a wall, and it's like, yeah, it does a really good job of like adding to that tension.
Reiner, you're digging it too?
Yeah, it's super cool. I was taken aback by Leon's new character design. He used to look exactly like Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Like to a degree, and now he's like, I didn't even know it was him at first. And I
It's
was
just
like,
Mike Mahardy, right, from GameSpot, former GI intern. I always
I don't know
think
who
of
that
him
is.
when I say, oh, I understand, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
I was looking at the original game a little bit too. Actually, I watched like the first episode of our old Super Replay of it, which is fun because Tim's playing it, and Reiner, you're on that first episode too. And like Leon's character model is rough, like especially in those cutscenes. Whereas like Claire, I think like actually holds up pretty well overall, but Leon was like, oof, he was rickety even back then. Looking at
pull
that
the
thing.
camera back.
Yeah, no kidding.
And they did sometimes.
So it's everything you want. It's perfect.
I think it is. Like, I mean, they even do stuff that I did not expect them to do. That I don't want to spoil things, but it's just like the level of tension they add to this series is amazing. Like, because I thought 7 was pretty scary as well, and they bring that stuff into Resident Evil 2. Because as much as I liked Resident Evil 2, I didn't find it like a scary game back in
Yeah.
the day. But this one like is scary at times, and more than scary, it's just like foreboding and like intense. Like there's a lot of like moments that just like super intense where I would finish running through a hallway, dodging monsters, and I'd get to a place and I would just like exhale. I'd be like, all right, I did it. Like, and it's just like it's such a rush to play.
And it feels unscripted. It's less of you go into this room and there's a scripted jump scare that happens, and it's more they've made enemies with really interesting behaviors that react to what you do in a way that is hard to predict and scary.
And you just have to remember, like, okay, these lickers are in this hallway.
Yeah.
I need to avoid that if I can.
Right. That's the other thing is all the zombies and all the special infected, like the lickers, they stay where you leave them if you don't finish them off. Or if you have a big battle with a licker, its corpse is going to be lying on the ground every time you run through that area
right. Oh, that's
forever. And it
fun.
really does create this vibe of I am trapped in this place for this night, and it's very scary.
And sometimes you don't know, like, okay, did I take that zombie out? Did I take that licker out, or is he playing possum? And like, is he going to jump out at me? Because sometimes they will, and sometimes you did take them out completely. So it's like that game of like, is this hallway as clear as I think it is?
Right.
Yeah, back in the day, you would enter a new hallway, and the camera would limit your vision. Like you would see the front half of it, but you couldn't see what was in the back half, and you got scared from
Yeah.
that, right? Like there was tension there. Now they use lighting in a really interesting way where you'll go into a darkened area and you just have your flashlight and you start hearing things and you're like, oh God, what is in here? It's not something's there. It's just like Leo saying, like there are crazy things in this game that you wouldn't expect.
Every time I hear something, I pray it's just a zombie and not one of the scarier things in
And
this game.
that's the thing from even playing like the one-shot demo. Like when your flashlight isn't on something, it is dark. It is
yeah,
tough
yeah.
to see. Like, you need that flashlight to understand what is happening in your surroundings.
It looks really good in HDR. Like if you have that. Like,
Oh, okay.
I recommend using HDR.
I would say that's
use the technology you have.
I would say that's the big difference between the old one and the new is just the lighting.
HDR.
Like those games, I mean, those games were like well lit. Like you could see everything, and now it's like they don't want you to see hardly anything unless you have your flashlight out.
It's funny
It is
too.
very scary.
Polygon actually had a story about the creation of the original Resident Evil 2, which is an excerpt from this guy's book and stuff. But they're talking about like that legendary Resident Evil 1.5, right, where they're trying to make Resident Evil 2 for a while, then rebooted it. And one of the reasons they rebooted it was like they were going for more of an action-focused game that was not connected to the first game necessarily at all, and also like the streets were just like brightly lit, everything was brightly lit. And then Kamiya, the director of 2, he said from this Polygon article, Resident Evil 1.5, it was truly a piece of S. It was boring, devoid of vision, and a poor excuse for a horror game. It's very
Wow.
fun. So did they make bigger changes than just like little things here and there? Does it feel one-to-one?
I would say it's not 1-to-1 at all. In fact, like I almost wish
1
they
to
didn't
2.
call it a remake because there's more work put into it than there's remakes like the Spyro trilogy that just came out not
Yeah.
too long ago. Like that in my mind is a remake. This is like from the ground up. They moved around environments. They added environments. There's like the enemy behavior is different. The gameplay is different. Like I don't know. Like in my mind, it's on the level of like the Tomb Raider reboot. Like that level of difference between like the
No.
original Tomb Raider and
Yeah.
yes, like it is that much of a different game.
But there's no like environments they're reusing for the Tomb Raider reboot compared to the original Tomb Raider 1.
They might have had some environments the same, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
It feels like
communicate
I get
that this
that.
is a completely different.
Doesn't
game.
it feel more like the Resident Evil 1 to Resident Evil remake? Isn't that the obvious analogy? But it's more than that even?
It never feels like it was easy for them to do Resident Evil 2 again. Easier than it would be to make a new game, you know?
Right.
Yeah, they could have made a new game and it would have been as much work as they did put into this.
Okay.
That was my big question is like, was this story really worth retelling?
I don't know.
You know, it's like, it's cool because it feels so different, but it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I don't know if I needed this tale in my life again. Like, this is important.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
mean,
really.
I hear that, but
What
it's cool.
So Resident Evil 2 has a confusing structure.
Mm-hmm.
I watched like a friend's brother play through the entire game, but it was a long time ago, and so I always get confused. But there's a scenario, a B scenario. Can you explain just how this game's structure works? Because it's so weird.
Oh yeah. Well, they called it the zapping system back in the day, and it was the original PlayStation had 2 discs. There was a Claire disc and a Leon disc.
Yeah.
So whichever one you played first, you could play the other disc, and like things you did in your playthrough of Leon, let's say, like you might be able to like leave certain items for Claire. Like she would have access to them if you didn't pick them up, or like unlock certain things that she would find unlocked in her playthrough.
Okay.
So the 2 campaigns kind of communicated. This game has a second run, is what they call it.
Hang
It's
on. First of all, is the zapping still there?
so they don't call it zapping. And they said when they announced it that they were not doing the zapping game system.
Okay.
But we're like, well, how's the 2 campaigns going to work then? So the 2 campaigns they have in this game, you can, whichever character you choose is kind of like the main campaign you do. And then you can do a second run with the other character. And like things are completely reworked. So like you approach the police station from a different place. Like you enter from a different place. You get items in a different order, which changes your path through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then add to that, both characters have different stories that take them to different places at certain times. So the middle of the game is completely different for each character anyway. So you add all that together and you're like, it feels like a completely, I mean, I don't want to say different game in terms of like you're still in the police station, but it definitely feels different enough that it's worth playing a second time.
Okay.
The way they talk about it in game, when the little pop-up shows up that you've unlocked the second run, it's felt like a new game plus to me, because it said parts of the middle and the ending are changed, so it's like, okay, I'm kind of playing the game again with a different character, but I'll get
Right.
the true ending or whatever. But it's really just, it's the second half of the game.
Yeah,
it's
that's
you
how I
need to
see
play
it.
a second run to get the full story. There's
It
a
feels
ton
like
of
the
new stuff
second half
there.
of the game.
Really?
And all the weapons you're getting are different.
Yeah.
Which is super interesting. Even if they're in the same place, it's a different weapon. It's like just a remixed version where you're solving puzzles in different order and a different story is playing out.
They actually start you out with this really cool quick fire gun in Claire's game, because that's how I did the second round with Claire. But yeah, it was really cool and fun to use. Like it fires off weapons just like bah, 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 bah.
It
Like, you
pops
burn-
heads really fast because it's the 45 ACP instead of
Yeah,
9
you
millimeter.
burn through ammo with that, but it's a lot of fun to use.
Is this game going to kick my ass?
I don't think so. It is a traditional
Reiner's nodding.
survival horror game. Like, well, in the sense that it's a traditional survival horror game.
Uh-huh.
It's ammo is scarce.
Yeah,
health
don't
can be
fire
scarce.
bullets.
Yeah.
If you know what you're doing, you can totally make it through.
Oh,
I don't
no.
think it's not like Dark Souls like hard, but yeah, you need to like manage your inventory well and like know like, well, I don't have enough ammo, so maybe I should just try to run through this area and not kill everybody.
It's really impressive how well they're able to make you feel like you're always just riding the edge. You're running around with no health and no bullets, but you're still managing to barely make it through and get just enough bullets to kill only the enemies you need to kill and then run past the other ones.
I don't know how they like managed to like balance it so well because like the whole game I felt like I was always about out of stuff.
Right.
And I always felt that way. I never completely ran out, but then I also was never like, oh, I have more than I need. Like I was always just on that edge.
It's kind of the beauty
really
of this
well
series, right?
Yeah.
Like even going all the way back to the first game, I guess you learn very quickly, like, oh, I better restart because I wasted all my ammo. This game, at least they tell you that like in the opening area where I guess right after the gas station, you're in the streets of Raccoon City and there's like more zombies than you could ever take down. And you just learn right there, like,
That's a good
I just got
point.
to run and find the path. And then you're kind of conditioned that way when you get inside, like, okay, I got 4 bullets. Can I just leave this zombie? And
Or shoot him once just to stun him, shoot him in
Yeah,
the head
and
to
get by
knock him
him.
back while I run past.
Just so you can get past.
Yeah.
That's a good trick.
Reiner, what do you want from Resident Evil 8?
more of 7.
So as it goes forward, that's first person, and then hopefully they use this tech specifically to keep remaking 3 moving on.
Yeah, I think as Reeves pointed out, it's kind of interesting because they're going back to something that they made decades ago, but it is built kind of on the ideas of 7, even though it is kind of classic in how it's presented.
Yeah.
But I want them to go back to first person. You know, you always hear developers say like their first game is proof of concept. The second one is where they can really show off their ideas or really experiment and stuff like that. I would like to see that with 8.
This time, the 8th time is where they can really experiment.
Yeah,
and
like
show
just
new
I want to
ideas.
see another one in that vein.
Yeah.
But then give us 3. You know, like remake 3 again in the third person.
Yeah, with this reception, it has to happen.
I
I
think
can't
there
wait
was a
for
rumor
now.
out there actually that they are working on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know how valid that is, but
I'd be surprised if they didn't do it, but it's a classic case of, hey, if you give a mouse a cookie, like gamers are like, okay, that's great. Yeah, it's everything I wanted. Where's Resident Evil 3? Come on.
totally. And one thing, I see Reiner's point, and I probably agree with him. Like, I liked elements of the first-person camera and all that from 7. One thing I've missed from the series since 4 really is the zombies, and it's kind of nice to see zombies back. It feels like they're always inventing their own monsters, and those can be fun, but it's kind of nice to have classic zombies that you're shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just something about that. And they're hordes, and they're kind of slow and dumb, but even having 2 zombies in a room together, like if they're on opposite sides, they're kind of hard to like line up the shot. Like they can be deadly.
And when they lunge at you, they can do like a 9-foot lunge. They can really close a
Ooh.
gap really quickly.
And a headshot won't take them down.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll put like 2 bullets in their head. It's like, this is not what I learned watching movies.
You'll shoot them 5 times in the head and they'll fall down, and then you'll go to finish them off with 1 more in the head, and you'll shoot it in the head, and it'll just wake the zombie up. And it'll get up and
What have
start
I
fighting you
done?
again.
No.
Oh, good Christ, no.
But at the same time, it's like super satisfying when you like do 3 bullets and like a head explodes.
Yeah.
And you're like, yes, that's really good.
Nice. Your reviews on the site.
Yep.
9.5.
Up right now.
Man.
They did it.
it out.
Congratulations, Capcom. Jesus Christ. Reiner, real quick, Ace Combat 7.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
exciting.
That thing's out.
Yeah, what score did you give that one?
I don't remember.
I believe it was an 8.
Yeah, it was an 8. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a throwback to yesteryear. I don't know if you remember, they kind of tried to reinvent the series, give it a different kind of flavor in terms of presentation and how the story's told and all that.
Is that like the same time they got away from the numbers?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was it? I can't remember the name of it. That review's forever ago for me.
That entire series is bonkers when you look at it. It's like, what? They're like GBA entries. Like, it is all
Yeah.
over the place.
But this is, back to the numbered entries, and it is all about the dogfighting. And one of the cool things is over the span of time, military tech has improved. They've latched onto that. So you have drones as opponents. There's no pilot that's, susceptible to G-forces, stuff like that. And they just have a lot of fun with that, much to your disappointment as a pilot, because it's like you'll have something lined up and you'll just turn on a dime and go the other way. And you're
Yeah.
like, well, now it's going to get me. But play it for single player only. multiplayer is pretty disappointing. There's a battle royal, not royale,
Right.
battle royal mode that's 8-player free for all. But almost every one of my matches, nobody got shot down. It was
What?
all just people shooting people with machine gun bullets, but everybody was so skilled at just evading missiles that nobody got shot down. There's a better chance of downing a plane in team deathmatch, but because you might have 2 people targeting one plane. But that battle royal mode
Yeah.
it was
so
it was
funny.
hilarious.
I
Oh,
was
you watched me
watching-
play it.
Yeah, I was watching Runner play it, and it was so funny because I was expecting a battle royale, and there's no looting, obviously, because you're planes. People were
be
just
kinda
flying
awesome,
around
though.
shooting at each other. Eventually, somebody got a kill, and then it popped up. That person respawned. What? I was like, what is battle royale about this? But
I think that
apparently
mode was
that's-
called when they first started prototyping it 2 years ago. They're like,
Apparently, that mode
Eight-player
has been in the
combat?
series forever. Battle
Oh,
royale.
really?
Yeah.
oh man.
But
Amazing.
it's very funny to release that nowadays, and no.
In
heads
that
up
match,
about it.
I just flew. I was just pressing to the left, flying in a circle, and this enemy or this other player just kept trying to shoot me down. He'd get locked, kept trying to shoot me, but for 4 minutes, I just looped, and he did not get me. And then that was the end of the match. It was just like,
Beautiful thing.
this is this thing. But single player is very good.
Yeah.
The story is bonkers in a way that I can't believe. Usually, these games tell like kind of touching stories about pilots or families that are affected by the war.
Yeah.
And that's always been really compelling and a reason to just sit back and enjoy it for a different reason. This game goes into like Fast and the Furious territory of you shoot down like the president of a country and you go to jail for it. But then they need they need everybody in the jail to turn into pilots, even if they're not, to fight for their country. So it ends up being all these convicts in the sky, and they put on the side of their planes on the fin what they call sin lines. These lines on the tail fin that show how bad of a person you are.
F yeah.
Since I shot down the president, I had 3 sin lines, the
Right.
most you can get.
That's a 3
Wow.
sin.
Hell yeah.
But that's the level of kind of like madness it gets to.
It's so weird. So I started playing this game too, and it's just such a bizarre and unique world for gaming because it's this combination of like obsession with like military tech, like you're shooting down MiGs and stuff, right? Like all the missiles are like real world missiles, all that stuff. But then it goes on and on about the kingdom of Erusia and how it was hit by an asteroid thousands of years ago. Where it's like,
Wait,
what?
this is a fantasy world?
Oh yeah, it's always been.
Wait,
yeah.
what?
Yeah, it's always
that.
confusing. It's like an anime weird kingdom warfare nonsense storyline.
Oh, weird.
And one thing they do with new technology, new generation of games, is weather effects are through the roof. So the clouds you go through look amazing. They have storms that you could be a part of. And even getting struck by lightning, you'll go into these lightning storms, which look cool. But then when you get hit by lightning, your HUD scrambles. You can't target enemies anymore. You're at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
It's kind of frustrating that it's random that you get struck down like that. But it just ups the tension that you have in these battles. Like maybe I should try to pull this guy out of the cloud. Depends on where you are in your mission. You might need to, like, every second counts. You
Yeah,
just dive
yeah.
into it.
You know what's shocking to me?
It's fun. It's really good.
Yeah, yeah. I was shocked how good the music was.
Yeah.
It's one of those games where out of the blue, it's like, oh, this has a great soundtrack. Like I didn't look up the composer or anything, but it's super good.
It is at times.
Oh,
There's
okay.
some tracks that feel like they're completely disconnected, like just weird rock, like poppy kind of sounds as you're dogfighting, and then other times it'll be like Duel of Fates from
Yes.
Star Wars with like people like a choir chanting, and you're like, oh, this is cool.
It's quietly one of the wackiest game series still going on.
Oh,
in
it
Ace
is.
Combat.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre.
Suddenly
it-
going on again, I think, is more accurate.
I heard it has really good dog animations, is what I've heard, right?
Yeah, that's true, Reeves.
you seen-
Also,
no, there's
no,
I've
there's
seen-
so
that was
there's
a dogfighting joke.
There is a cutscene in the game where you have these characters that are talking, and they just got off an airplane, and they're moving around, and they're animated. But at the foot of the woman is this dog that is clearly clip art, like a photo that they just like cut out and put into the image, and it's not moving as these characters are moving. It's just like sitting there staring.
Stay.
And then the camera transitions to show a different angle, and it looks like a completely different dog.
Because they had to get different clip art for the different
they
angle.
d- Yep.
Yeah, Matt Miller upstairs was like trying to searching on the internet trying to find the clip art of this
It's
dog.
amazing.
Find this dog.
That clip's, I think, online. I saw somebody tweet about it too.
Oh, that's great.
It's awesome.
I got to play with the new Thrustmaster
yeah.
whole kit. They shipped it out to us. It's like the Ace Combat 7 controls, very satisfying. I would argue that stuff is more satisfying than playing in VR. Like just getting actually like the whole contraption and getting just thrust forward and shoot the missiles with the little Wampeter over here. It's everything you'd want.
If you want to feel VR and have the full sensation of like, holy cow, I feel like I'm moving, like this game delivers that in spades.
Oh yeah.
As you're like flying forward, only just that alone feels cool. Like it's tricking your brain. You think you're flying, but when you start moving your head around and spinning around and looping around,
Oh God.
it's crazy, but it's awesome. Like I got out of there after one mission was just like, whoa. Oh, I don't feel
That's
good.
awesome.
I need to go look at a dog just to calm down for a little bit. Just look at a static
Something
image.
that's still, stay.
The VR
8.0.
is PSVR exclusive, right?
PSVR.
It's not a PC version.
Yep, only on PlayStation, and it's a short campaign for VR. It's just a few missions.
Oh,
Different
okay.
campaign.
But they're very well done. Like it's one of the better VR games, I would say, for PSVR.
There it is. Ace Combat 7. For now, Leo, you want to clap out, buddy?
Okay, bye.
Jeff Cork.
Hello.
Taking care of business.
Yep.
Here we go. A little detour from talking about games to talk about every game. Specifically talking about how every game is interesting, damn it. This is a theory that we're looking to test. We tried this last year, and we proved that Jack X Combat Racing is interesting as the winner of the last round. But
Yeah,
Jeff
is there
Cork,
going
yes.
to be an asterisk at the end of this segment now that this is the second time we've done it?
Oh,
like-
I see.
Or maybe like every with the asterisk?
No, I think we proved that those previous games, Serious Sam 2 with
Yeah,
Reeves,
super interesting.
MLS Soccer
Yeah.
98 or whatever, and then Reiner had Chasm?
Yeah.
Something I don't even remember.
How dare you? It's
Something.
interesting enough to
I don't
remember.
know.
It's
Okay,
amazing because it came out like the month before you got it. It's amazing.
just confusing.
I just read your review. That was it.
So what we
It was
have,
interesting.
we have a list of 7,724 games that Game Informer has reviewed, I do believe is the criteria, going back to the start of the magazine.
Every game.
We're going to use a random number generator. We're each going to be assigned a game.
Yep.
We then have 1 week to prepare a 3-minute speech trying to explain what is interesting about this game. It can be development, can be gameplay, can be
Yes.
anything. The community said, focus more on the gameplay, you assholes. We can if we want to. It's up to us. But here's the twist, too. The 4 of us at the table each get a game, random
Yes.
game. Also, the community gets a game.
What a twist.
And then they can send in emails to podcast@gameinformer.com, and Leo will be the voice of the community, which he always is anyway.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, yes, Reiner.
Can we get a mulligan if we don't like our pick, or if it's like a game I reviewed last week?
Now, we discussed this, but that would imply that every game isn't interesting.
Well,
And
no,
that
it's still
defeats-
interesting, just not for me.
No, I get it, but no, I disagree.
So
You're-
even if like we reviewed it, like that's not a disqualification.
there's no disqualifications here. Maybe if you made the game single-handedly, I will disqualify you. But I'm looking at this table. I don't think we got to worry about it. Okay, Andrew Reiner, do you want to go first?
Yes, let's hear it.
You say those magic words to Leo.
What are they?
You know how they go.
Leo, give me a game.
Yeah, boy. Okay.
I'm in Vegas.
6,387. It is called Teenage Zombies, Invasion of the Alien Brain Thingies for Nintendo DS.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that game, Reiner?
Yes.
Really?
Well, I mean, I put the magazine together back in the day. I think that might have been Brian Vore.
It seems like a Brian
Maybe
Ford
reviewed
film.
that.
What's the name one more time, Leo?
Teenage Zombies, Revenge of the Alien Brain Thingies?
Okay, how you feeling about that one, Reiner?
Pretty bad, actually. Well,
right.
The name's interesting.
Yeah.
Look, the topic's interesting. The DS, mwah, what a
Yeah.
beautiful
Oh,
system.
perfect.
All right, Ben Reeves.
All right, here we go.
Whenever you're ready, say those words.
Leo, every game is interesting.
Get the sequel to Teenage Brain Thingies.
Oh, that'd be good.
3,147.
That's a good number.
Oh, excuse me, pardon me. Kirby Squeak Squad.
Squeak Squad.
I'm sorry, I made that game.
All right, we gotta do it again.
Yeah.
What
Also
is-
for Nintendo DS.
Oh, weird. What
Oh,
is
that is
Kirby's
weird.
Squeaks?
Well, we'll find out next week.
I don't know. I've never heard of that game.
Is it like one where you have to like talk into the microphone on the DS or something?
I assume it's about the famous artist Jack Kirby.
Find out. His notorious squad. Mm-hmm. Jeff Cork.
Leo, may I please have a random number that corresponds to a game?
Your number is 5,808. Your game Sonic the Hedgehog for PS3.
Oh,
Sonic the
that's
Hedgehog.
Ah.
2006.
That's right.
Interesting.
Oh, hot
Wow.
damn. Good
Oh
luck.
my gosh.
Jeff Cork, you have 27 hours of a super replay to watch, I believe, where we played through all of Sonic the Hedgehog 2006.
Cool.
Please look forward to it. Okay.
Look forward to my trophy.
Damn it, that's a really good
That's a
pick.
good pick.
I don't know. I heard a lot of things about the Squeak Squad. Leo, give me that game.
5804. It is. What the? Sonic Rush.
What?
For
Wow.
DS.
For DS?
What is happening?
This feels
This
packed.
is why human brains can't comprehend random numbers.
Yeah.
Because this is weird.
Yeah.
Okay, I've played that game. All right, I'm excited. Started it. It's the one with the cat, right? Not big, but I think there's another cat in it.
We are using Google's built-in random number generator.
Wow. And you
Does
had
that work?
Kind of.
Apparently not.
Did you have that DS emphasis extension plugged into Chrome at the time as well?
Of course.
Okay, here we go. The community's game for every game is
Yes.
interesting, which they will research for 1 week and then send in emails to podcastinginfo.com with why they think this game is interesting, and then it's in the running for the ultimate winner. Here we go. On behalf of the
Community, say
community,
those words.
Give me that,
game.
991.
Ooh, an early game.
Civilization 3.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Look, community, if you don't win this one,
You have to win that.
good
are
luck.
being super lazy.
Also, good job, Google Random Number Generator, because you chose for the final Civilization 3, which is going to be a beautiful segue into our next topic at the gates here, another game we're talking about. But again, podcastinginformer.com, write in with why you think Civilization 3 is an interesting game. And we're going
Should
to
we-
prove to you
Should
that
we
every game is
clarify, or is
interesting.
this for next week that like it's on the people who are researching to find interesting things, but like that's what we're judging, not the game
Right.
itself.
That's right. When we have our mystery judge in studio or Skyping in, they're not judging and saying like, oh, I played Sonic Rush. I think that's a good one. They're basing it on the presentation and what is interesting that you can find
I mean,
in that
I'm
3-minute
sure.
presentation.
I'm sure I'll find just as much stuff to research with my game.
You never know.
Opposed to the Sonics and Civilizations.
But these are known quantities. Your game could be just,
It's probably doesn't even have a wiki page.
it could be the Dead Sea Scrolls for all we know at this point. Fantastic. All right, I'm looking forward to this. This will
Yes,
be fun.
sir.
As for now, everybody but Reeves, you want to clap out of here?
It's a riddle.
See ya.
JV Gwaltney.
Hi.
That's the sound of a clap if you're wearing fingerless gloves, because it's Minnesota in the winter, everybody.
Yes.
That's where we're recording this. You've been playing At the Gates,
I have.
which is a new turn-based strategy game, correct?
4X.
4X. Okay,
yeah.
from the designer of Civ 5.
Yes, John Schaefer.
Yeah, he's been working on it forever.
7 years they kickstarted it. It was one of those Kickstarter games that everyone was like, is this the new platform for funding games? And then it took 7 years.
Wait, 7 was that before Double Fine's thing then?
I don't think so. I
How
think that
long
would
was
have been
that?
after.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's like a year after or something.
Okay.
But it was
Yeah.
like, it was during that golden period of
Okay,
like,
sure.
Kickstarter's the new alternative for
Right.
like 3 or 4 years before no one gets funded on Kickstarter
Yeah,
anymore.
and maybe he was working on it before the Kickstarter too, just for
Sure.
that weird
Okay.
timing and stuff. So just to kick things off, you posted, I haven't read it yet, but he posted a big blog kind of going through his development history of this
Yeah, he
game.
posted that or like a week ago or so.
And you
Yeah.
said it was interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting because he talks about after he left Firaxis, he went to go work at Paradox
Yeah.
a bit, and they were working on a new game that everyone was hyped about, and they'd already crowdfunded At the Gates. So At the Gates was going to be on his sort of side project, and the big project was going to be whatever he was working on with Paradox, but that fell through somehow, and he departed from Paradox. And so he goes into that blog post and he talks about like depression and weight issues and just like losing his passion while basically explaining this is why it took so long to make this game.
Yeah.
And then getting it back, finding sort of like his sense of being and optimism again with that game, working in that game in the later years. So it's an interesting read. It's
And
on his site.
And what's interesting about our job and your job specifically, JV, is you got that entire saga, and now you can say, hey, At the Gates 8.0.
Yes. Yeah.
This is what your life is worth.
yes.
So insane.
It's a pretty good game. I
Okay.
like it a lot. I can see how people might be frustrated with. Well, let's talk about what it is, though. It's very much in the mold of Civilization, but it's like the early sort of opening. If you made a whole game out of like the opening act of Civilization, you're like a group of barbarians trying to survive the harsh landscape, bandits, other barbarians, long enough to build up, your empire and take over Rome. And you can do that with like a military force, so just, the traditional, let's kill everything. Or you can do it through it's kind of a sneaky twist on an economic victory where you get a bunch of resources and you train what are basically like Roman spies to go in and take over Rome within like 2 years.
Huh.
And that's like the economic victory.
Okay.
And like that's the whole game. But what's interesting about it is it has roguelike elements to it. So every map is procedurally generated. You might end up in the crook of like a mountain surrounded by, rich resources like, oh, I've got my wheat over here. I've got the horses or whatever I can hunt.
It was wheat?
Yeah, wheat.
Okay, got it.
You got grapes and stuff, just enough to like last you a long time. Or you might start in the middle of a desert surrounded by bandits and you have to constantly like move your home around trying to find new resources, new places to like, set up shop, so to speak.
So it's a more deadly version of Civ, or what's the like Civ with more tension?
It's Civ with more tension, and it's Civ that requires a huge amount of patience. Like part of this sort of condensed Civ look of like the barbarian ages or the dark ages is that so much of the tech that would take like a turn or two in civilization, like, oh, I need to train artesian sort of people who are great with like crafting buildings and whatnot. So that would take like 5 turns in this game, like just for like the most basic things that you can think of like training people how to like cut wheat and harvest it. Blacksmiths take a ridiculous amount of time. It's just the most basic tech takes forever, and
so
that can get a little grating.
You never get to the modern age? Is that
No, you
what
never get
happens?
to the modern age.
Okay.
Like this is straight up just you're trying to survive long enough and build up enough power with sort of primitive tech to overtake Rome. So it never really gets out of like you never get guns or anything. You're not going to have like the battles of Civ where it's like a bunch of medieval knights versus tanks. Like it's just straight up like barbarians versus Roman soldiers.
Huh. What's
As
your,
it should be.
Yeah, we got intended. What's your pitch to somebody like Reeves who loves all Civs for like why he should be interested in this thing?
Especially when a new Civilization expansion is like less than a month away.
I think the best way to think about it is that they add a clan system that's kind of RPG, like an RPG-like take on Civ, where your units aren't just like statistics that you're marching across the map. They're actually presented as characters.
Yeah.
So the clans have different sort of temperaments. Like one might be a quick learner. They usually have 2, and they're usually one's a positive, one's a negative. So one clan might be a quick learner or might be adept at using weapons, but they might be impulsive, which means they might steal your resources from time to time. And you can train them, and as they partake in more battles and as you spend more time training them, because time is the ultimate resource in this game, they become more skilled warriors. You can become kind of attached to them, so losing them is really harsh. It's more than just, oh, I lost my best unit. It's like, oh, I had this unit, this clan for like, 5 years or something, which is like 20 turns in game or something ridiculous. Like 40 or 50. And I grew really attached to them and they did a lot of great stuff for me and now they're gone. And so, there's a bit more sort of like personal characterization there that Civilization doesn't have.
You into that, Reeves? You buying what he's selling?
That sounds pretty neat.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of Banner Saga.
Okay.
A little bit. So,
That's cool.
yeah, like just
I like that game as well.
Yes. Just the moving around aspect too of like having to pack up your settlement from time to time and find somewhere new. You're not always going to have to do that, especially if like you're fortunate enough to land in some place with a bunch of like resources that you quickly build plantations and mines and stuff.
So do you only ever have one city then? One settlement?
You only have like one capital. So yes, like you can build sort of outposty places, but like the settlement, like the command center, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
This is PC only.
Yes, this is PC Mac.
PC Mac, got it.
Yeah.
I always get those Civ designers confused. It's a little bit like Mission Impossible directors up until Christopher McQuarrie, right? Where it's like it's interesting that they always rotate through. Where it's like Sid Meier for the first one. I don't know if he did.
Did he not do
Civilization
2?
2. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so John Schaefer did 5. Soren Johnson, I always forget, he did 4. And he does like the Designer Notes podcast on Idle Thumbs Network, which is really good. Ed Beach was a designer for 6, who directed Civilization 3. You tell us, community, with every game is
tell
interest.
us.
Every game is interesting.
That's right.
Podcastinginformer.com.
We don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, you let us know. Okay, reviews on the site, though, at the gates.
Yeah, review and tips, because those opening hours are rough. So if you're struggling, go check out our tips.
Sweet. I'm struggling because we have a lack of emails on this show.
Let's fix that.
You want to fix it? Here we go, emails! And welcome back to the Game Informer Show. I'm here. We have Kyle here.
Hi!
Ben Reeves.
Hello.
And from At the Gates fame, JV Gwaltney himself.
Hi.
Welcome. People sent in emails to podcast@gameformer.com. Every week, it's like top 3 highlights of my week is reading that inbox because people send in so many good things. They send in questions, feedback, jokes, words of wisdom, dares,
Games.
thoughts, games, everything under the sun, podcast@gameformer.com. For example, here, Nick Rodriguez sent in a bunch of toilet infomercial videos that use music that's used in this podcast during like the intro to the interview. It's like
Really?
it's from the YouTube library and stuff. I love seeing that stuff.
I ran. There was a trailer. I think it was Leo. Maybe you can say it's the VR game that lets you play any board game.
Oh, Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah, they have a trailer that uses some of our music, and it really freaked me out.
Yeah, it's not our music, except for the intro. That's
They're
Mercado
not
Brothers
quoting
music. Anyways, first email here is a real humdinger. We can stop here at Email of the Week. Oh, by the way, I should mention, we're going to choose our absolute favorite email, and then that person is honored by becoming the Email of the Week. We put a pin on the map where they're from. Right now, God's countries are officially, well, it's Paris, because that was the Email of the Year for last year.
Permanent
so that's always
God's country.
That's
on
going
there.
to stay up there.
And then we have Houston and we have Vancouver. So add your city to the map, please. Ready? JV.
Mm-hmm.
John in Roseville, Minnesota says, hey, with what looks like a great remake of Resident Evil 2, Reeves, is it great?
It's amazing.
9.5. Which PlayStation 1 era game would you like to see get that treatment? I have some obvious ones in mind, but I'm going to start the discussion off with Siphon Filter. That would be interesting if Sony's like, all right, after finishing Days Gone, now go back to Siphon Filter and do the Resident Evil 2 thing.
It's called Splinter Cell.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I'd like the original Silent Hill.
Oh.
I think which they've done a little bit on Wii. I think.
Right. That wasn't that long ago.
No. It's funny. A lot of the ones that come to mind, like I was like, oh, Metal Gear Solid. It's like, oh, they did Twin Snakes. Silent Hill. It's like,
Yeah,
they did
that's
that
not
one.
as
That was
good.
kinda-
What
I was going to
frustrates
say Final Fantasy VII.
That's
They're doing
what's
that way.
Oh, Medieval.
Yeah. What's frustrating is when people talk about like remakes, they always get confused with remasters and all that stuff. But everyone's like, oh, they need like an HD version of Parasite Eve or some PlayStation 1 game. Where it's like, no, it doesn't work that way. You can't just like it's a lot of work
You'd
to
have
make
to
a PlayStation
remake,
1
yeah.
game
Well,
look
but-
playable.
But we were talking about it in the Resident Evil version, but like there's one there you can remake a game like the Shadow of the Colossus last year, and
Yeah.
that was like just visual. But like this is like a major overhaul. And
Yeah.
so like I think that's what he's saying is like what game do you want? Not just to get remade visually, but like overhaul in an extreme.
Okay, what about
So I would propose Vagrant Story.
Oh.
Did you ever play that game? It's a really cool RPG, but I think it would be really good if they updated it.
then
And I
it-
thought the story was really cool.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the few Famitsu 40 out of 40s.
It
I
is.
think,
Yep.
right?
It's totally it popped back in the day for that. Also, it's part of the Phantom Pain series or the Phantom Pain saga is how they say it in the credits. I think we've talked about it on the podcast
That's
before.
not
but
confusing.
yeah, it's very
Today.
weird.
Wait, what?
In the
I don't
credits
know
of that
about this.
game, it says Vagrant Story, Part 1 of the Phantom Pain saga or something like that.
And then part 2 obviously is
I think
Ground
Final
Zeroes.
Final Fantasy Tactics. for
Oh,
me.
that's a good one.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like the idea of like those idle animations of people walking in their little squares, but they just look like effing amazing. Just like this incredible detail, but they're all just like on invisible treadmills.
Yeah.
Would you take like the XCOM style grids now?
Yeah,
Would you go
probably.
that crazy with it?
Yeah.
That would
JB would turn it down. Get this out of my face.
No, I feel like if you had a way to like switch back and forth between like a modern modern like configuration and like the classic one, that's the best way to do it. Like I'd be on board with that.
How long until Tactics makes its way to Switch? Even like the
oh.
PSP version or the PS Vita
I mean,
version.
it's
whichever
got to
it was.
be, right?
Surprised
Like,
it's not on there already.
Depends on how 10 and 7 and 9 do.
I have a
right?
feeling they're going to do very well.
yeah, like,
yeah.
Which game do you think would sell more if it got the RE2 treatment? Resident Evil 3 or Dino Crisis?
Dino Crisis.
Resident Evil 3 would sell better, but I
Yeah.
think
Really?
I would rather see Dino
I think
Crisis.
Dino Crisis would actually sell better.
I think there's a chance Dino Crisis just for the buzz of like, what? They're
Yeah, the
doing
novelty.
Dino Crisis?
Are you kidding?
What are you
Resident
talking
Evil
about?
is a huge brand. Like
Yeah.
Dino Crisis, nobody remembers.
Yeah, but
It would
like,
just be a dinosaur game to
Resident
most
Evil 3
people.
is like the worst one.
Yeah, but it's
I don't
Resident
like the
Evil.
numbered
I don't
ones.
think you guys understand. I like dinosaurs.
Yeah, but
So
Resident Evil
I
3
think it'll sell better.
Resident Evil 3 would have the word Resident Evil on the box.
Do the names Dino and Crisis not mean anything in this
Look,
godforsaken
no!
place?
I like
don't.
I like dinosaurs more than zombies too, but you're a moron if you think
I mean, to be clear,
Dino
I
There's a
Crisis
chance.
would
I
sell
think there's an
better.
audience out there.
to be clear, I would rather have Dino Crisis.
Yes,
All right.
I agree
Yeah.
with you 100% there.
Then tell Capcom that it would sell better.
I
not gonna
cannot
lie
do
to
that.
Capcom.
I cannot break this oath.
Dozens of us, Hanson. Dozens of us.
Thank you. My real answer is Ray Fencer Musashi.
Okay.
Fine.
Did you ever play
And
that
you
game?
think that would sell better than Resident
it
Evil?
would sell better than the 7 remake?
Would it have a 7 remake demo on it?
That was the 8 demo that was Ray Fencer Musashi.
Dang
But
it.
nice
Joke. Flattened.
That demo was so funny too because like Rhinoa was on your team for that section where it's basically like the D-Day sequence from Final Fantasy VIII. Everybody remembers it.
Of course.
But then Rhinoa was like in your team, and I was like, "What's with this Rhinoa character? She's not saying anything. Like every time we talk to her, it's just like ellipses or whatever." Then you realize in the main game you didn't have Rhinoa during that section, but they just put her in the demo and just had her not say a single word, which was very confusing. Anyways, Ray Fencer Musashi, did you guys play that?
No, never did.
It's very fun, and like you can learn like enemy powers along the way, but it's kind of an action RPG. The main character, Mr. Musashi himself, every time he dies, he has a funny little quip. And one time, remember when he's killed, he goes, "If I get reincarnated, I want to be Musashi again." Which is a very cute little thing to
pretty
say.
good.
Those are going to be my last words. Anyways,
Musashi specifically.
I want to be a Musashi again.
yeah, that's
What
right.
is a Musashi?
It's a long story. You'll find out in the remake. Kale from Colchester, everybody knows where that is, says, "Hey, Ben and guys. There could be girls. There's guys, though. It's safe to say the Resident Evil 2 remake looks like a bar-setting remake." Reeves?
I would say that.
Okay. Unfortunately, I never played Resi 2 and have no attachment to it. So I think my experience might be different. Did get me thinking, though, of the possibility of Resident Evil 4 remake of the same quality and care. Unlikely, possible, or definite? I don't think it's necessary.
I don't think it's necessary. That's what I was going to say. Is like RE2 is not aged well. RE4 has aged well.
Yeah, I go back to that like every 2 years or so. Every time they release a new port, basically, and it still holds up. It's still amazing. When it comes out on Switch, I bet it'll be great.
Have they announced it yet on Switch?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They haven't announced a date, but like that was like at the end of last year. Capcom was like, "Oh yeah, we have a bunch of Resident Evil games coming to Switch. Resident Evil 4 is among them."
Yeah.
We'll never learn, but which game will sell better on Switch? Resident Evil 4 or Final Fantasy 8?
Resident Evil 4.
I think Resident Evil 4.
What about Final Fantasy 10?
I think still think Resident
I
Evil 4.
still think Res 4.
7?
I still think Res 4.
No.
I feel like
There's a reason Resident Evil 4 has been ported a million times because it like keeps.
I know, but
selling.
everyone's
7 has
saturated.
as well.
You'd think.
I mean, just to like PS4 and PC, I guess. But I still think there is a big audience out there.
But what about Vita?
Okay. It's cute.
Are they? If they come out around the same time, you say we'll never know. But the Switch, the store does have like a ranking that you can look at, which I look at
Oh.
pretty
Yeah.
often. It's fun to see like what's at the top of the charts. But
Right.
if they release like super far apart, then it won't really
Okay,
matter.
so we just need them to release
But that's
on the
only for
exact same
digital
day.
too, though.
It does retail, and then it also has a digital list. It's weird. how
Oh,
it
that's
separates them.
bizarre.
Yeah.
What if we each take one of those games and make bets on who's going to sell the best?
Okay.
Without being able to
That sounds pretty
back
good.
it up.
Hey, let's go off the rails here. I was in the Game Informer vault where we keep all of our games of the day, and I came across this bundle that I completely forgot existed, and I can't wrap my mind around it. But there was a bundle on 360 that was Oblivion and BioShock 1.
What?
Yeah, in one case. And it's just like this weird art where it's divided down the middle. But just the idea that like 2K and Bethesda would team up because Todd Howard and Ken Levine are friends? Like, how the hell did that happen? It's so
No, I
weird.
mean at the time that was like their biggest like weirdo properties, wasn't it? That's both 2K.
No, Oblivion. Yeah, so it would be Bethesda.
Yeah, but I thought
2K published Oblivion?
I thought
No.
2K published Oblivion.
Oh, did they?
I think they did.
Oh, I had no idea. That
yeah, I'm
explained
pretty sure.
everything.
Like, yeah, if
Okay.
you look at the bottom of the box, it says 2K on there.
I take it all back then. That makes a lot more sense. Anyways, Shane in Northampton, New Hampshire says, "Hey, I love the podcast, even though Ben personally tanked my email of the year bid a couple weeks ago. I figured I'd write in again. Keep at it. Have you ever felt the need to perform a video game exorcism? Is there a game from your childhood that you were never able to beat, no matter how hard you tried? A game that still tormented you years later to the point that as an adult you felt compelled to revisit it just to finally beat it? As silly as it sounds, for me that game was Tiny Toons Adventures, Buster's Hidden Treasure on the Genesis. This was one of my very first video games. As a little kid, I beat my head against the wall trying to finish it. I recently visited it on the emulator just to finally exorcise that demon. Is that how you say that?
Exorcise.
Exorcise?
Exorcise.
Anyways, anything like that? You just had to get out of your system?
When I was a teenager, I picked up Psychonauts and got to the meat circus and said, F this.
Yep.
And came back years
Correct.
later, finished it. It was like, that wasn't that great. So, yeah.
The game or?
Yeah, the game.
Really?
Yeah.
Kyle, will you argue with this man?
Yeah, he's wrong. I don't know.
Okay.
No.
I'm
Psychonauts is
often
great.
wrong
That's
about
fine.
things. That's fine.
I have Super Mario 2 6 golden coins for
Yeah.
the Game Boy. I struggled with that game a lot as a child, and I was in a mom and pop like video game store in like around high school, and they had it there. And I bought it and I beat it in like an hour. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh wow. I mean, it
Did
was
you feel
great.
like a god?
Kind of, yeah. I was like, why
Hey,
did this give me
mom
so
and
much
pop,
trouble?
I'm a god.
Yeah.
Like you went Super Saiyan right at that moment?
Yeah, exactly.
I
Right
did-
when I was fighting Wario. Yeah.
I did something similar with Aladdin on the Genesis.
Oh, God, that's so hard.
Yeah, well, I went back to it and I kept playing. I'm like, this must have been the last level I played. And then I get to the next level, like, no, I remember this level. And I kept doing that until I got to the last boss. I was like, I remember this boss fight. So I think I might actually
these
beat that
credits.
game. Yeah.
What was the other super hard Disney? Is it Lion King?
Yeah,
Oh, God.
that was cheap at points, like
Yeah.
especially that last boss fight.
Where you jump up the waterfall. We were playing Lion King for replay
Yeah.
a few months ago, and we finished the episode, and I sat down here and like just got past that part, just because I was so like I was never able to do it as a kid. So I know I didn't go and beat the whole game, but I got past the waterfall.
Yeah.
And then-
Also,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, please.
Just quickly, this idea came up, like you showed us the questions, and it was funny because I just finished writing a piece about Onimusha for PS2, which is totally that game. Like that was the game that introduced me to the PS2, and I played the first hour a bunch, but I never beat it. And so when it came out on Switch, like 2 weeks ago, I guess now,
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta finally beat this game, and then I wrote a piece about it for the site. So
How was it?
it holds up. It's still good. I liked it.
Is it? It started as like a Resident Evil offshoot or something crazy like that, didn't it?
Are you thinking Devil May Cry, I think.
Yeah,
thought-
Devil May Cry was definitely a Resident Evil offshoot. I mean, this feels like straight up a Resident Evil game, except like, samurai Japan, and
Yeah.
like instead of guns, you have a sword. Like it's still the same like
Otherwise,
structure,
it's
puzzle
exactly the
solving.
same, yeah.
I mean, I know you're joking, but like structurally, it's the same. It's the locked cameras and the tank controls. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, part of that was just like that's how you did games back then. I mean, 3D was hard, so
Yeah.
like a game looked better if you just did a
Oh
background.
yeah, for sure. But it's just it has that Resident Evil structure like all the way through,
Yeah.
and it's good. And the new controls are good. And
It's weird they just did the one game.
yeah, I think have we talked about?
Oh,
it
in the
before?
remaster, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
because 2 uses the protagonist of 2 is based on an actor who passed away, and I think that caused a problem for it to be remastered or remade.
I think they can't re-release it.
Yeah.
In that state, like with that
I
actor
think
in there.
so. And then the third one, because Sam Minoske in the first one, he's an actor as well, but I believe he's still alive, and he's also in the third one. And then Jean Reno is
Jean
also
Reno is in the third
Yeah.
game.
So they
Who's
probably
that?
have to license his likeness again.
He's,
if they
if
want to
you
re-release it.
he's the professional. He's
Yeah, Leon the Professional, Ronan.
Oh,
the
I watched,
French guy
I
in
watched
every
it.
French
movie.
guy who kills a lot of people.
I watched Claire the Professional.
What?
Anyways,
joke.
For me it was.
Oh wait, I get it. It's
Wait.
a
anyways,
Resident Evil 2 joke.
Shut up. We're good. Mine was a Darkwing Duck on the Game Boy, which is basically the same as the NES version. So like I played it a bunch as a kid on the Game Boy, and it's like I'm finally gonna beat that thing, and then sat down and blasted through it. Had a blast. What a good time. And then also, I don't think I ever beat it as a kid. And Jamie, I don't know if you remember me gushing about it on the Gears of War 4 cover story trip, because the director of Gears of War 4 also worked on the Looney Tunes, Wile E. Coyote, and Roadrunner game
Oh, yeah.
Desert Demolition on the Genesis.
Not Rod Ferguson.
Not Rod Ferguson. No, this is the actual director on 4. I forget his
okay.
name now. But I love Desert Demolition. It was one of those games that I went back to and I still think holds up as just a weird experience where you can choose to be either Roadrunner or Wile E. Coyote. And it's a cool, weird vibe because if you choose to be Roadrunner, the coyote is chasing you that entire game. And it's really stressful. And then if you choose to be the coyote, you have like a clock ticking before you starve to you have to catch the Roadrunner. So you're
that's
trying to do
cool.
like these platformy kind of like crappy Sonic clone levels, but this crazy dynamic thrown in there. It's cool.
Neat.
Yeah, we played on replay. You should look up that episode.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gushed about it there too. Anyways, Jose from Newcastle, Delaware, yes, says, hey, have you ever played a video game that was widely regarded as extremely difficult but seemed easy to you?
Ori and the Blind Forest I didn't find too challenging.
Really?
Yeah, I really loved those like escape sequences. I had to do them a couple times, but I never really thought it was as excruciatingly hard as most people said it was. And that is the only example that I have.
I actually Bloodborne for me. That one wasn't that hard, like compared to like Dark
Really?
Souls, because I'd just done Dark Souls earlier, and so being able to like move more quickly and stuff. And also, I was super sick when I played it, so I had nothing else to do. But I
That
just
sounds perfect.
blasted through it.
Not counting the DLC, which is where it gets
Yeah,
insane.
no, we're not counting the DLC.
Okay, that's fair. Tim Ferrara from Santan Valley, Arizona. Here we go. He says, hey, what game do you absolutely love but could care less about the story? Oh,
Titanfall 2.
Oh, that's pretty
Oh,
good.
interesting.
At least
Okay.
it's kind of like fun-ish and lighthearted with
Right, but-
the characters in there. But yeah, ultimately, you don't care about that lore.
Yeah.
I was going to say similarly, just basically every Call of Duty game. Like, I love playing those campaigns.
Yeah.
But I never care about what's happening.
Call of Duty has campaigns.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they
it's,
all
it's,
have
you know,
campaigns.
I know you're young, but back in the day, they used to have these things called campaigns with things called set-piece moments.
Oh.
It's very strange.
I'm sure you guys just talked about it a lot, but I feel like Kingdom Hearts kind of falls in that window for me now.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Mostly just because it's gotten so complicated that I've given up to a certain degree, but I still like those games, and I'm excited for 3. You know, love might be a bit strong, but I'm eager to play 3, even though I'm confident I will not know what's going on for the most of
Yeah.
it.
Right.
This
Tetris.
is this is a weird one, but Half-Life 2. Like I loved
Oh, what?
the original
Really?
story in Half-Life. I think this is also tempered by the fact that we'll probably never see Half-Life 3. Like I'm sure when I was 14, I was probably a little bit invested, but every time I've gone back to it since then, I'm more about the set pieces and like how the action feels and stuff.
Even
rather-
even the end of episode 2
Yeah.
doesn't really.
I got a question for you.
yeah, because I
Gets
never
me.
cared about those characters.
What is
Oh,
the
so you don't have
story?
a human soul?
That's right.
Oh, that's why you didn't like Psychonauts.
Exactly.
Oh.
I get it. And that's why you wear fingerless gloves.
Exactly.
It's all coming.
That's
I
where you
fear
find
human
your soul.
touch.
I get it.
What is the story of Half-Life 2?
1984 with guns.
It's awesome. Like Alien, you're basically
But what is
witnessing
the plot?
You're
What
witnessing an
happens?
alien invasion that has been like there for like decades at that
That's
point.
a
And
setting, Kyle. What's the story?
You're you're fighting them. What else? There's not much to
Oh.
it. I love the idea of like an ingrained alien invasion, and I like with Dr.
Why
Robotnik.
It's like I like him. I like that he's this sort of like the human apologist for the aliens, you know?
That's
And, like,
a character, Kyle. What's the story?
You shut your mouth. I
I agree.
like Half-Life 2.
It's a great story.
I agree. Tim, he says, for me, it's Diablo 3. I love killing things,
oh,
but I don't
yeah.
think I ever read what the characters are saying. Absolutely. I love that game too, but if you put a gun to my head, I'd be like, there's a character named Leah. She's related to Deckard Cain.
Demons.
Deckard Cain dies.
Oh, yeah. That's a good choice.
Spoilers.
Outside of that, I got
It's-
nothing.
I do not skip story stuff in games, but Diablo 3, I started skipping story stuff at the
Oh,
end.
Yeah, no, my partner and I played through that game twice recently, and I don't remember any of the story beats at
so
all.
sad. Speaking tangentially of Blizzard, what do you guys think about that news that popped yesterday about the creative director for Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red being hired by Blizzard?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a weird deal.
Yeah.
I mean, cool. Hopefully that means something cool story related is coming for
Right.
Blizzard, because I don't think that's been the strongest element they've had in their games.
But it's also tough too to be like, hey, this seniorish person on Cyberpunk now make all of Blizzard's games have good stories. Like that's a
Yeah.
tall order, especially because Blizzard has a weird structure where like you're either on the story team or you're on the gameplay team, like different builds physically, as you remember, Reeves,
Yeah.
right? And so it's like I
out of
assume-
their 25 buildings or whatever.
yeah, exactly, the campus. So I'd imagine that this person would be on the directing or design side of things,
Yeah.
less on the story overall.
I mean, the bigger question mark to me is what does it mean for Cyberpunk? I mean, I'm sure they have multiple like leads for such a big
Right.
game, but I mean, to leave a big game like that, like pretty late in development, is I'm
Also-
sure he wasn't done with
Right.
whatever he was working
Bert's pointed out, and I think rightfully, that like creative director, it's a weird role. In our mind, it's like, oh, that's like the Neil Druckmann of Cyberpunk, you know, like for The Last of Us, but not necessarily the case. It can mean a bunch of different things, especially on a different continent with, you know, CD Projekt
Yeah,
Red.
sure.
You never know how influential that was, but I know. I think all we know for sure is that Blizzard gave a big fat check and wanted some of that sweet CD Projekt Red talent.
Yeah,
which is cool.
I'm curious to see how it unfolds. I want to see like if he's working on like a new IP or something.
Hopefully it's good for Blizzard and not devastating for CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they'll be fine. I mean, they got such a huge team over
Hopefully
there.
we'll see whatever it is within 10 years.
I
Yeah,
can't wait.
Blizzard.
I cannot wait.
Several people wrote in, including Nick from Tulsa, Oklahoma, saying that yes, you can beat the Pokemon games using only one Pokemon. At level 100, you can crush the Elite Four. But it takes a lot of...
Wait, was that us talking about that?
Yeah.
The Charizard thing?
Right. Did you just
okay.
listen to the podcast last week? Is that...
Yeah.
Were you talking out loud to the
I thought it was a
headphones?
different podcast. This American Life. My other favorite podcast.
Wow, Ira Glass sounds a lot like Ben Hansen.
Yeah.
This Kanto Life. Scott Campbell and several other people also wrote in with big corrections here, Kyle. Ready? Quote.
No, wait. Okay, go ahead.
Yep. Welcome to has long been a portion of the Animal Crossing logo as a small font in the upper left, beginning with the first game.
Yeah, I texted Hansen about that shortly after we recorded, I think.
Because we thought that, or I thought like an idiot, like, oh, in the logo, it's baked in.
Like a
It says,
damn
welcome
fool.
to Animal Crossing for the upcoming one on the Switch. But it's always been there, apparently, in that logo. At E3 2005, before Wild World's name was finalized, the logo read, Welcome to Animal Crossing DS, population, growing. New Leaf also sported the Welcome to prefix in 2013 until 2016, where it was removed and updated with the title Animal Crossing New Leaf Welcome Amiibo. Because they didn't want to have the word welcome in the logo twice. The space where Welcome to previously resided was left blank. The prefix is even present for each of the Animal Crossing's infamous spin-offs. That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
very informative. Thank you. Animal Crossing, get your ass together.
Come on.
Come on. If it's in the logo, it's the name of the game.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you for saying it.
Anyways, Jonathan Din, Obra himself, writes in. He's from UC Davis. He says, hello, Ben and crew. John here.
Hold on. JV's eyes are still rolling.
Oh, my God. They're
Wait
rolling
for
it
them
onto
to
the
catch
table. John here from California, Salinas, California, apparently. He says, if Nintendo follows through with most of their announcement trailers, they'll have a great 2019 with Animal Crossing, Fire Emblem, Pokemon Switch, Yoshi, etc. What could be a great curveball that they could throw out there? I'd love a new handheld scale Zelda or an announcement of a direct Breath of the Wild Zelda. I think a direct sequel a la Majora's Mask focusing on rebuilding Hyrule after Calamity Ganon would be amazing. Thank you. Like the podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's tough. The oddball thing. It can't be like, Kid Icarus 3. Like, it has to be something reasonable they could throw out this year. I would say it is not insane for them to pull a Mario Galaxy 1 to 2 thing and for them to announce Odyssey 2 at E3 this year.
Oh, yeah.
I'd
I
be
can see
okay with
that
that.
for sure.
Especially because there was no DLC for that game, which is
Well,
weird.
They had the Luigi balloon mode.
All right, sure, you jump on a balloon or whatever. Have a good time, fellas. No
It took
real
one guy like 10 minutes.
yeah, exactly. Me and
I know
Mark
how
blinked,
games work.
and that came
They
out.
just imported the Luigi model
Yeah.
from Mario
Yeah.
Party and done.
Although I guess maybe would they announce it this year if it's releasing next year? If it's like in theory 2020's big holiday game, which they'd probably want to save it for that.
Well, I feel like Nintendo still announces things pretty far out, unlike some companies.
Sometimes, yeah. But
you
stuff like
disagree?
Let's Go last year that was pretty late in the year even.
Yeah, I mean, but Metroid Prime, like,
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
right.
Or
yeah,
Pokemon.
that's a solid. I don't think that as much as I love that idea of like the Majora's Mask approach to Breath of the Wild, like a direct follow up. I love that idea.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. I
don't
think
think
whatever, which they've said they're working on, whatever's next. I think it's just going to be the next big Zelda, and we're not going to see it for a while.
What's the
Well, but they said they do have like a smaller Zelda team who normally did the handheld stuff.
Yeah,
so-
like that one, which whatever that could be, maybe like a more 2D-ish Zelda. I feel like we'd see that one pretty soon. But like the next Breath of the Wild, so to speak, I think we're a ways from seeing that.
What I would love is like a remaster of 2, Zelda 2. Like we talked
Yeah,
about the
that'd be cool.
RE style remaster. Like I think it'd be fun to like bring back those old school mechanics. Like I think that'd be really cool.
Well, do you remember when we talked to Miyamoto? The three of us did for the Breath of the Wild cover story trip. I remember in one of the video interviews, we were talking about Zelda 2, and then he talked about like, oh, it would be kind of fun actually. Now that I think about it, to kind of give it the Donkey Kong Country Returns treatment. He made some reference to that, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, or
We
like
gave him that idea.
Something like that.
it was something like we'd have to look up the exact quote, but it was something along the lines of like taking the Donkey Kong Country franchise and giving it a Zelda 2
Yeah.
sort of sequel. It was weird.
It's
the way
something
he-
like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Okay, you say I don't think it's going to be the Majora's Mask thing for the next Zelda from the main team, but what's the difference? I mean, if they stick with like their more systemic open design, like
I think it's a whole new open world, like from the ground up.
well,
Like,
Majora's Mask was still like a new world-ish.
no, it was. It totally was. It was like character models and some assets. Is
Exactly.
what were brought over. I think the next one would. I think the next potential. I'm just calling it Breath of the Wild for the sake of defining it. I think it might even have like a different art style. Like I think it would just be.
Really?
I think so.
Like a Wind Waker style. Let's go crazy.
Yeah, I mean they don't really do a lot of like direct
wanna
sequels
get
to
nuts.
Zelda. Like Ocarina to Majora's Mask, and then even Wind Waker sequels went to DS.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would just be the next step for Zelda, whatever that means. I think they're gonna embrace the open nature of Breath of the Wild.
And like the physics focus.
Yeah, but then like sort of it'll be a much different setting, I think it'll look different. I don't know. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
I bet they would blow out the dungeons a little bit more.
Yeah,
Yes.
probably a little bit more emphasis.
That's
back on
just
the
an easy
dungeons.
marketing bullet point too. Of like,
yeah.
with more dungeons,
They're
like Rise of the
back.
Tomb Raider, like,
Yeah.
oh, tombs, baby.
Yeah.
It's everything you want.
But I think I would love to see like a smaller scale Zelda
Yeah.
announced at E3, maybe like a Link to the Past remake
Right.
even or something like that.
yeah, Quad
for
Force
Switch.
Heroes.
To kind of go back to the question
okay.
though, I don't know that they need to like have too many surprises because they could just like show us Pokemon, show us Metroid, and
Yeah.
like they're
Right.
kind of
That's what everyone's going to be yelling from the crowd anyway. So
Yeah,
they might as well just
exactly.
skip into that. Yeah. Jonathan from London. Been there, JV?
Yes.
Great. It says, Dear Ben and Gameformer crew, hello. With recent events of Bungie separating from Activision, do you think it's possible for Bungie to be reacquired by Microsoft? Microsoft has been buying up studios left and right, including the formerly proud to be Indie Ninja Theory. It's funny. It is clear that Microsoft has turned over a new leaf. Oh, welcome to Microsoft. In relating to their studios and seeming to give all the creative freedom that the studios want. So would Microsoft buy Bungie again? No.
No, because I feel like the problem with the way that's presented is it's like, oh, well, Microsoft would do this, but I don't think Bungie needs Microsoft. Is the thing there?
Well, what if they do though? What if they realize,
Well,
oh God, it costs so much money to make Bungie? or
but
to
that
make
would be
Destiny,
like
what
a
have we
thing
done?
from like years from now. I
Right,
feel like
right.
like right now in the landscape right now, I don't think that's a possibility.
Right. Plus, what would they do? Be like, hey, how about you just take that Halo franchise from 343 real quick, and then we'll come up with something new for 343.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, exchange franchises. 343 gets Destiny.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be kind of
I
amazing.
mean, Bungie
I
and
wouldn't-
Microsoft. Oh, go ahead, Reeves.
I wouldn't put it past Kyle of talking over me. I wouldn't put it past Microsoft of like wanting that. Honestly, I just
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think Bungie wants it.
Yeah.
No, like in Bungie's in the studio, they have like literally Declaration of Independence, like this framed thing on their wall, which is when they got their independence from Microsoft.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a big core part of the pride of that studio. Is like we did the impossible, we defeated Goliath. We got free somehow. It's still confusing how those guys wiggle out of everything.
But they generally parted on good terms as far as we know, right? I mean,
I guess
believe
so.
so.
I mean, I don't really know for sure.
Yeah,
but-
who knows for sure? But I don't. They didn't like talk a bunch of crap about Microsoft after they left or anything like
Right, right, yeah. Let's see. Tyler from Leesburg, Virginia, says that's like a made up southern town name. Leesburg. Hey everyone, I have a quick game for you. I will list some PlayStation IPs head to head, and you guys need to choose what game you believe will see a release first.
Okay.
I'm talking about a legit, proper follow up, no remasters. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. JV, are you excited?
No.
Here we go. Which game will see a new release first? Twisted Metal or MotorStorm?
that. Twisted Metal.
What is
Twisted Metal.
MotorStorm?
Twisted Metal's your answer. Resistance or Siphon Filter?
Siphon Filter.
Siphon filter.
Resistance.
Who owns Resistance?
I mean, Sony does.
Probably Sony.
Also,
Insomniac's gonna
follow
be
up.
so busy.
Follow up. Who cares about Resistance?
A fair amount of people, I feel like.
Ted
Not
Price?
any.
The third one is kind of interesting. But the weird thing is, I think Insomniac's going to be hella busy with Spider-Man for the next 300 years. And it seemed like Sony Bend hated Siphon Filter when I was there. Like they referenced like the creative director, John Garvin over there. Like he was like, I killed the main character. Is it Logan? What's his name? Gabe Logan or whatever?
Logan. There's Logan. One of the games has Logan as a subtitle. So
Okay,
let's
there
go
we
with
go.
Logan.
Yeah, so he's like, I killed the main character because I never wanted to come back to this franchise. So,
Well, same
I
thing
mean,
could be said of Resistance.
That's, I guess, true.
So we're at
Oh
a
yeah, you're
stalemate.
right. That's the sign. That's the only insight as to whether or not a studio is sick of working with a franchise is how many characters they kill in it.
But then they made another game.
Yeah, you're right.
That was 2, and then they made 3.
And one for the Vita.
And
Yeah.
one
Yeah,
for
I
the
think-
road.
I think
Wait,
someone
no,
else
is that
made the Vita
Killzone?
one.
Was there a Resistance and a Killzone handheld?
There was
think-
definitely a Killzone.
There was definitely a Killzone. I think there might have been a Resistance for the PSP.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because it used the face buttons as the right analog stick, and it did not work well.
That didn't work well.
Yeah.
Little Big Planet or SOCOM?
Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
I might go. Although, by the way, this is a case of Media Molecule being open to like, oh, we'd love to work with Little Big Planet again someday.
Yeah.
Who knows if they ever
Well, and that third one was made by somebody else.
would. Sumo.
Yeah.
Yep.
of the
Although
show.
with like, I think SOCOM could work in this day and age. I feel like with the rise of Rainbow Six Siege in particular, a more strategic focused shooter, like
More realistic.
It's
Yeah.
just those waters are so filled. I feel like it's just so saturated with
has that ever stopped at the game industry before?
I mean, I don't know. I don't see SOCOM coming back, except maybe as a weird like free to play thing.
Hang on, Reeves is laughing at you.
What's that game?
The what?
What are we talking
Yeah,
about?
what game
SOCOM?
were we talking about? Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yes, Sid Meier's SOCOM.
Soak 'em and eat 'em.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Moving on, Infamous or Killzone?
Oh, Infamous, I hope.
I bet Infamous. I would even go legit with Infamous. Not
Yeah.
that.
Speaking of which,
Infamous, probably.
speaking of Sony Bend, I feel like it's one of those things that they talked about in our answering lingering questions about Days Gone, but it never really broke out of that podcast. But they confirmed basically in that podcast that Sony Bend was working on a Vita Infamous game.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
really?
yeah. So it almost came back, and that would have been after. Yeah, I guess
It
after the other
hasn't
one.
been gone that long.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, I will. I'm sorry. What was the other one? Infamous versus
Killzone.
Yeah, Guerrilla's like they're good. Like they've got Horizon.
They're good.
Yeah.
I think
They're
they're happy to be done with Killzone,
I don't.
honestly.
Yeah, Killzone and
Uh,
Resistance kind of hang out in the same bubble. I think.
Oh yeah. Oh wait a minute.
Oh,
Killzone V Resistance. The mashup we've been waiting
The
for.
ultimate.
Think of the lack of sales.
I think Killzone between those two.
No, but he's saying a game
No,
is
you don't
called
get it, dude.
Killzone versus Resistance.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's like your top 3 Killzone characters versus like top 3 Resistance
So
characters?
PlayStation All
Generic
Stars Part
Hellgast
2.
Yes. Okay. Dark Cloud or Parappa the Rapper.
Dark
Parappa.
Cloud.
Dark Cloud.
Really?
I mean, I would rather have a Parappa, but like, I don't know.
Well-
They tried to bring back that Rap Rabbit thing, and that flopped.
Well, that's
Weird.
different.
Yeah.
I will say I'm amending my answer now because I mean Ni no Kuni 2 it's
Yeah.
basically a lot of what people liked about Dark Cloud.
Incorrect.
I'm sorry.
You couldn't choose the layout of the town. That's the
No.
thrill of Dark Cloud is like arranging things in a particular way and seeing like a meter of effectiveness going up and down.
Will you ever be happy?
No, how many times do I have to tell you?
He gets very Seinfeld
Yeah.
when he's petty and angry about something.
But I could see level 5 in theory, you know, more eager to work on a follow up and Sony willing to shell out some cash for that
Yeah.
than Parappa. Anyways, Jack and Daxter or Ape Escape.
Hold on. This reminded me of like I think it was 2 terms ago. We had an like intern who was pitching us an idea for a story, and he started off the pitch like this. And it was me and Cork, and Cork's a huge like Parappa fan.
Yeah, he has a
He's like,
T-shirt.
Have you guys ever played this really bad game called Parappa the Rapper?
I bet Cork took to that one.
Yeah, that pitch didn't go over well.
Really didn't like it, huh?
Yeah,
No,
an
he was
intern's
not
never
a
been
fan.
punched in the face before, but oh
Yeah.
my god. Where do we go? Oh, Jack and Daxter or Ape Escape.
Oh, Jack and Dexter.
I think Jack and Daxter.
Jack and Daxter.
Yeah.
Remember that weird saga? This is just like, hey, fun development tidbits that aren't well known. But the idea that Naughty Dog was making a Jack and Daxter game for PSP, and Neil Druckmann was like working on that one, the design of that one, and then that got scrapped because everybody was absorbed into
Yeah.
Uncharted.
They were doing
and
that
then-
crazy realistic. Those art.
Well, no, that
cells
was Jack
came
and
out, I think.
No, so that was for Jack and Daxter, the reboot, which Neil
That's a
and
different
Bruce.
game.
That's a different game. That's the one they were making before The Last of Us.
Okay.
But they were actually making a Jack and Daxter on PSP, which then got scrapped, and then Ready at Dawn made their Daxter game instead.
Yeah.
All that. Anyways, it's
There,
confusing.
there seems to be affection for Jack and Daxter still within Naughty
I'm
Dog.
kind of surprised they haven't.
Yeah.
done
yeah, you
anything.
think like a Senzaru or somebody could like pick it up like they did
Yeah,
Sly, something like
Sly
that.
was great. I'd love to see that. I
Yeah.
like that series.
Okay, great one, Tyler. Thank you. We like Leesburg now. Andrew from Stillwater, Minnesota says, is anyone around the office excited for Anthem? I'm extremely hopeful, but since EA is the publisher, none of my friends will give it a chance.
Oh, really?
That's
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Wowie.
I am extremely curious. I don't know if excited is
Yes.
the right term. I'm
Yeah.
excited to find out, I guess.
Isn't it in a good spot, though? I think some people in the office, like we just talked about on the podcast last week or whatever, that Joe's really excited about it, but there's a chance that game could exceed all of our expectations, because I think all of our expectations are like in that 8 range, I
Yeah.
think.
It's the best way to walk into something. It's like when I went in to see the Solo movie. I'm like, I don't have huge expectations for
Yes.
this, and I walked out enjoying it.
Anthem, the solo for
That's right.
2019.
Then I will probably really like Anthem because after Andromeda, I just
Yeah, exactly.
very low expectations.
And in Dragon Age.
Yep. Let's see. Hello, Ben and fellow informers. My name is Josh McRoberts from LaGrange,
that's
Kentucky.
a fake name.
Probably.
Is he? What was the Leesburg?
That's like a
Is he
name in
from
like
Leesburg?
Red Dead Redemption 2 that someone uses to disguise, like when they go from town to town.
Oh, right. Yeah, Mr. M. Here's a crazy hypothetical question. What company or corporation do you think could take over for Santa Claus?
What?
Amazon.
Is that the question?
I put my money on Google. I think they have the tech resources and info to make it happen. Do you agree?
It's Amazon.
Yeah, it's weird that it's not Amazon.
Yeah, it's Amazon.
It's just Amazon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or,
But-
like, what's the Chinese version of that?
Of Amazon?
Chinese Amazon.
I don't know. What's the
They're huge.
What's the no? What you're thinking of the Google one where it's like it's got
We sound really hip
Somebody
right now.
Google something, please.
well it's not Abu Dhabi. It has
Yeah, it's something like that.
Leo, can you look that up please?
Oh.
But it's like the
What
Chinese
am I looking
Google.
up?
The Chinese Google equivalent.
Chinese Google.
No, it's like the Chinese Amazon.
I thought it was the Chinese Google.
Just go to Amazon.com and write China in the search box and tell us what you get.
yeah. We'll wait.
Is it a lot of pots and
Why
plates?
would
plates and stuff?
Google do it, though? Like, just because they have a lot of money?
I think so.
Or Amazon
and they
actually
also-
deals with
And
products.
they know more about what we want. Well,
Google
But see,
also
like-
doesn't do evil, I've heard.
The Chinese Google is Google China.
that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, we were close.
Okay,
we
great.
were close.
Scott Campbell says, hello, friends. What is a clever use of controllers that you appreciate? 2 examples. Nintendo Wii only supported 4 controllers connected at once, but Bust-A-Move Bash, everybody remembers that. Every game is interesting, allowed you to play with 8 players by plugging in 4 nunchuck accessories and splitting each pair of controllers.
Oh, huh.
In GoldenEye for N64, you could play with dual analog controls by gripping the center of a controller in each hand.
Yeah, that was cool.
I feel like my answer is going to be really stale, but Psycho Manus.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's the first one that came to mind for
Yeah.
me, too.
Or even like getting the back massage from Naomi.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
another
yeah.
twisted version of it, yeah.
Rez, I don't know if it did it on PS2 and Dreamcast, but on the 360 version, you could you could wirelessly connect 4 controllers, so they would all vibrate, so you could, sit on them or whatever you want to do with them.
Yeah, we're all thinking that.
I also liked on Phantom Hourglass, there was a puzzle where you had to copy a map onto something.
Oh.
You had to close the DS to
yeah.
do that.
Not a controller, Kyle.
Well, in a way, it is
Built
the controller.
in.
Yeah,
Okay, I take
I'm
it
with you.
back.
Yeah, where we talked about it before. We had Duck 'Em Muck on the Nintendo DS. You had
Yeah,
to close
that's
the
cool.
lid to instigate one of the mini games. Yeah,
There was a puzzle game that did it first actually called like Touch Memory or something like that. That like you had to put a stamp on an envelope by
Yeah.
closing the DS.
Kyle, do I sound hostile to you? Sorry.
Are you mad at me?
No.
because
It's
like
like-
just a little pent up.
I'm sorry, man. I don't know. I know I was joking that you needed to give me a
Moving
Resident
on.
Evil 2 code.
Move
but,
this train along. Christian Kalinowski from Farmingdale, New York says, hello, crew. He likes the show. Thank you. He's wondering if Rockstar will ever make a non-open world game again, or are they set in this GTA Red Dead style from here to the end of time?
I would
they
like
will.
to see them do something different.
Yeah, that's the main thing is like Rockstar just does whatever it wants to do, it feels like. But I would love to see like another Bully or even another Manhunt, because I really like Manhunt. I think it's like one of the most underappreciated stealth titles.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see another one
I mean,
of those.
Bully was open world, though, even. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's more limited, right? Though, like it's
Yeah.
not like
It's
it's not
smaller.
like GTA open world.
Yeah, it was
By
a
the way,
little different.
Speaking of weird controller stuff, in Manhunt you could put on the headset and have the antagonist whisper
It's not a
sweet
controller.
nothings to you.
It's not a controller.
Will somebody explain what a controller is to Kyle? For Christ's sake.
I think they will though, just to mix it up. Max
They
Payne
could.
4 or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Max Payne is a good example.
There's no way
Good
they're making
example.
Max Payne.
I don't
4
think they
ever.
will.
You don't think
but-
so?
No.
It didn't sell well enough?
No.
No, it sold like garbage.
Apparently.
Son of a...
Even though Leo bought 2 copies for PS3, which is very important to remember in my head.
Leo, what?
This time we've talked about it.
He liked the
One of them
multiplayer,
was a
right?
gift.
All right. It was weird when they made the GTA Online DLC, and they called it Smuggler's Run. It's such a weird idea. It's
Oh,
basically
yeah.
killing any hopes for a Smuggler's Run sequel, if anybody ever wanted that, by just
Yeah, I
like,
forgot
roping
about
it.
that.
So
Yeah.
eventually they'll
Wanted
make
that.
like Red Dead Redemption 2
Horse
online
racing?
DLC and just call it like Max Payne 4.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Table tennis
The
in
Red
the Wild
Dead
West.
Revolver DLC.
Yeah.
The bully.
Okay, let's see how this goes. Joey from Richfield, Minnesota says, lots of video games have a button
Yes.
for a combat roll.
Next
They
question.
do.
I dare y'all to try to do combat rolls. That's just good podcasting.
What?
Would anybody like to try to
Are you
do
going to film this? What are
a
you doing?
combat roll? Yeah, sure.
Try it
There
if
you
you
go.
want. Should we all try it?
Yeah, let's all try it.
Reeves, could you try it
Do you
in
want
the
to?
studio
Do you want to
space?
get behind the camera and like?
Yeah.
How are you?
Reeves,
All
are
right,
you
sure.
willing to try
Let's
it?
do it.
Okay.
Well,
you-
wait. Am I the only one?
Yeah, I want to do
I'll
it.
try it.
Yeah,
I wanna
Jamie
do
wants
it.
to.
Oh, okay. All right. So Leo, I need you to be commentary in the booth, and then I'll run up and get the camera real quick here.
It's
Okay.
competition.
Do we have any swords like near? Oh, there's one right there.
This camera over here.
Wait, is
Yep.
it a real sword? Oh.
You want to get
Can we get a plushie
911
sword?
on
I think
speed
someone
dial?
has to hold it while they're rolling, right? Or
What if we roll
Yeah,
into
it's.
it?
I mean, you have to be in combat. It's probably the most important part of this whole
Hanson
thing.
really wanted you to go first. So.
want to hold this sword.
All right. All right. Do you want me to swing it
I'm
at
not
you?
gonna. No.
You can put your hands in a gun shape, Reeves. That's allowed.
if I can feel this out.
How's
Okay.
it looking, Leo, in there?
That's a bad idea.
Hanson's doing some good action shaky cam right now.
Towards the door.
Hanson said towards the door.
Well, just go beyond the camera.
Just do a perfect combat roll and dodge everything. It's not that hard.
Just don't hit the tripod.
This is
Okay.
gonna.
Reeves is clearing out space
This
now.
is gonna end disastrously.
No, it's going to be perfect, and I'm very excited.
He's lining up his combat roll. It's all on the line here.
Now, Reeves has been training for this for months.
Shoulder's bleeding.
I don't know if we need to follow that up, JV.
Yeah, I think that was pretty good.
That was
Yeah.
masterfully executed.
I feel like I can do that a dozen times. I'm out of energy.
Your stamina meter would never go down. Is that what you wanted, Hanson? Are you happy? Hanson's giving a thumbs up. He's
I have a
Big thumbs
follow-up
up.
question. You know how Nathan Drake like climbs up sheer walls nonstop? Do you think you could do a single pull-up? Like, can you pull yourself up off of a cliff edge once?
Oh, no. Probably not.
Especially Cloud Strife style at the end of 7, where he does it holding Tifa with only one arm. Please.
All right,
So
JV, you want to be the
unrealistic.
first one to test this out?
It's,
I think I'm good.
Take the camera off the tripod again.
Unless I can drop Kyle while we do it.
So you're going to hold on to me? And
No, I'm gonna
front
hold on
me?
to the ledge, and then like with one hand, I'll hold on to you, and then when I eventually get tired, I just let you go.
Okay. Are you going to like fling me up? That might be fun.
No, drop you into the abyss.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
Cute. Nick from Atlanta writes in with the best recurring theme here saying, hello, editors. I live in Atlanta, and a friend of mine lives in Vancouver. That's a problem. We're both wrestling fans. We had WWE 2K17 and wanted to try online play. It was one of the worst experiences. It had a good 20 seconds of lag for button presses. Nothing would register right. So my friend started a share play, and I joined. I was basically the second player acting like couch co-op. It was better playing through share play than through their online structure. So that weird trend of people using share play for fake couch multiplayer continues on PS4.
You're totally enamored with that. Like you keep
It's so
talking about
fun.
it. It's cool.
That's
It's cool.
It's a weird shaming of 2K, I guess, in general, but that's fun. Okay, bad question, but thank you for writing in. Taylor Owens from Vermontville, Michigan says, I dare you to do an entire GI show without saying the words "in theory." I cannot. Apparently, I said that a lot last week. I was criticized roundly. Also, he says, the greatest work of art of all time is Cowboy Bebop.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
good.
Greatest work of art of all time.
It's
Good.
No
in the
Metal
top
Gear
5.
Solid 2.
It's
That ending is amazing.
the only work of art that's ever made me want to start smoking. Because it just looks so cool.
Not
It
True
does look
Detective?
cool on that, yeah. Oh, hang on. I stand corrected. Mike from Lemoyne, Maine writes in and says the greatest work of art is the Evil Dead trilogy.
Um,
All right.
No? Is
No.
that everybody saying
Those are
no?
fun.
I mean, those are fine.
It was good.
Okay.
I mean, they were
I like
important for indie filmmaking
You know what?
too, but
yeah.
It's really the third one, though, right?
A lot of people have a lot of thoughts about what is the greatest work of art of
I like
all
it. I think
time
it's a good
ever
question.
created by mankind on planet Earth. Cody Espinoza from Layton, Utah says, hey, for those of us in the States, I think I would say the Declaration of Independence is up there as the greatest work of art of all time.
That's
Art?
art, huh?
Is that art?
I think
don't
you can make an
know.
argument for it.
I think you can make a case for the Gettysburg Address as being the greatest work of art of all
Yeah,
time.
there's something there. It's poetry.
Like, you're critiquing Lincoln's speech. There's something there. You can tell he's really shooting for something.
4 score.
Keep working on
Weird
it.
way to
Like,
start.
Reed's curious what you think of this one. Cody also says maybe the Bible is the greatest work of art of all
well,
time.
is it art? Like, is like same with. I think there's art within it. Like the Psalms are art. That's
Okay.
poetry.
Yeah.
Poetry. I
a
think
novel.
there's something there.
All right. What about
Amazing Fantasy 15.
the periodic table of elements? Can we consider that art?
No, that's just an
The
organization.
way it's laid out.
Leo's
actually.
nodding very aggressively in the booth. Also, he says the Odyssey, maybe Homer's work.
No, that's art.
Yeah, it's definitely art.
Heck, okay.
Influential.
We're not asking if it's art. We're asking if it's the greatest work of art of all
shoot.
time ever created by mankind.
It was.
There's
I
a chance
think-
with
I
the
think-
Odyssey.
I think that you can make an argument. I mean, in terms of its like long-lasting influence. I mean, has anything continued to influence?
Well, that's just like it was the first one in the door. Like
Yeah.
it wins just because it was early.
Reeves,
It was
why
like-
are you
it was like
outraged
Doom.
by all of this?
Kyle, why you constantly outrage me?
I don't know. I'm
Connor
sorry.
from Manchester, Connecticut, makes a case for Frank Gehry's architecture being the greatest work of art of all time.
Dude, can
Okay.
you elaborate on that? Who is? I don't know who that is.
He's an architect. He made.
I got that much.
he likes steel,
Christ.
like curvy steel. He's obsessed with it. He's a real
like
nut.
Kirby Steel. Metal Kirby from Super Smash Bros.
Read a
Moving
book,
on.
Kyle.
Andrew Verticchio from Chicago, Illinois says, I think the greatest work of art in human history, here's a contender, Lord of the Rings trilogy.
No.
Tolkien's Lord of the Rings trilogy.
The books or the
The
right?
books.
Neither. No.
Maybe
All
does
right.
Not like it.
Well, if you don't like that one, JV, then you'll love Ben Saylor here writing in saying, possibly the single greatest human achievement in history, Boston's self-titled album.
I actually really like that.
Yeah.
You said the Boston sucked!
What?
You badmouth Boston on our Malta trip.
What are you talking about?
You absolutely badmouth Boston.
You mean the band?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I like that answer just because
Oh,
it's
okay.
funny. Not,
Okay.
yeah.
But you don't like the band.
So you're saying, okay, you're going to go on the record and say Boston's self-titled album is not the greatest work of art of all
Yes,
time?
I'm going to go on record and say that.
Send your hate mail to JV@Gwaltney or whatever.
JP at Gwaltney.
Bob Buell writes in from Union, New Jersey. He has a
Bob's
really
cool.
interesting take.
Okay.
He's very smart.
Is this still the art thing? Is that our 2019? Like it used to be dying
my
peacefully in
God.
Star Wars. Now it's what is
I
the
don't know.
greatest?
I don't know.
I love it.
I am
I
interested
love
in it.
contemplating it.
So he says, hey, the question arose, what is the greatest work of art ever created on Earth? It might sound silly, but hear me out.
Okay.
It's professional wrestling. And yeah, we all know it's pre-planned, written out, and predetermined, but I'd argue that media like Hamilton, Game of Thrones, or Star Wars is faker than wrestling. All have scripts, all have heroes and villains, but at least in wrestling, aside from pre-chosen dramatic ending, the match in the ring is purely left up to the athletes. I can assure you that no lightsaber duel on the silver screen has ever been improvised by the actors in these roles while risking very serious injuries. But storyline, it's untouched by any medium. You literally have one never-ending consistent storyline since 1963, arguably older. Yeah, it can be silly and tough to take seriously sometimes, but it goes for the entertainment factor every time. Humor, heartbreak, competition, it has it all. I could go on, but in terms of sheer entertainment, quality of storytelling, impact to culture, variety across the globe, from lucha libre in Mexico to a hard-hitting strong style in Japan, it's got decades-long back catalog of production. Pro wrestling is the greatest piece of art created on Earth.
I'll take it over Lord of the Rings.
It's an interesting case.
Yeah, he makes a strong case.
Also, I watched this YouTube video once about wrestling, and maybe this is common knowledge, and it's like, yeah, no duh. But this guy put it in a very beautiful way, where he said, everybody talking about like, oh, it's fake, wrestling's fake, and it's like a bummer for some people. But he put it like, yeah, the WWE, it's not a wrestling show, it's a show about a wrestling show. And that's like the first time in my mind, I'm like, oh, I get it. That makes it much more interesting.
The other thing is like I don't think the WWE ever like presented itself as not fake. Like so it's weird that
Right.
that ever caught on. Like oh, it's fake. I was like, oh yeah, they know it's fake.
But they've always presented it as the greatest work of art of all time ever created by
that is
mankind.
true. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's still more. Terrence Misho from how do you say that, JV?
I don't know.
Seminole, Florida. Help me.
Sure.
Anyways, the greatest piece of art ever created is most certainly the album "Some Rap Songs" by Earl Sweatshirt. It's a rap album.
I don't know that album,
Is
so
that
I just
his
have to take
buddy
his
or
word
something?
for it.
Like
No, I looked it up. It's a thing. Nick from
I've heard of it.
Park Ridge, Illinois says the most beautiful work of art today is Brian Shea's hair. Debate over.
It's lovely.
John Scribner says it is either the Iliad Dante's Divine Comedy, Michelangelo's Pieta, or this one, which is an interesting choice, Beethoven's Ninth Symphony.
Just pick one. You can't have
Okay,
multiple
I
choice.
will pick for him
I
and
like the
say the
symphony.
Ninth Symphony.
Yeah.
There's a app. I don't know if it's
believe you.
iPad only or what, but it was a really cool idea, which is just like an educational tour through Beethoven's Ninth, of just like walking you through like why it's so important and just like a good piece of edutainment, as they say. But it was like $30 or something crazy. It was like, man, I think I want to buy that
Yeah.
someday.
It's no thriller.
It's no thriller. That's right.
good.
Okay, all great options. Wrestling might be number one in my mind at this point.
I mean, that guy laid out the best case. Everybody else is
Yeah,
like,
he
it's
made a good
this,
case.
and that was
right,
it.
right.
I personally don't get into wrestling. I don't like wrestling. But I have to concede to that. They made a good argument.
It's solid.
All right.
Here we go. Connor from Norfolk.
Challenge us.
It's still Metal Gear Solid
What's wrong?
2,
Yeah.
Sons of Liberty.
You don't got to stick with that, Kyle. I'm with
No,
you for the most
I'm
part.
standing by it.
Connor from Norfolk, Virginia says, "Hey, love the show. In honor of Kingdom Hearts 3, I propose a game. Guess that quote. Is it from Kingdom Hearts, the entire series,
Okay.
or Metal Gear Solid, the entire series?"
All right.
And
Okay.
Ready? These are
Yeah,
quotes. Number 1, when you give in to the fear, the
Kingdom
darkness
Hearts.
comes.
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts.
Man, I think that's Metal Gear.
It's Metal Gear Solid 2, ladies and gentlemen.
I bet that's also in Kingdom Hearts, though.
What some would consider the greatest work of art of all time, but I guess with some quotes I don't remember.
Yeah, I didn't memorize it. I'm working on it.
All right, don't stop moving, or the darkness will overtake you.
That sounds like Kingdom
Feels like
Hearts.
trick questions
Metal
now, but
Gear
I
Solid.
would say Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts 2.
Okay.
Oh boy. Okay, here's the exchange. Because I'm you. No, I'm me. Humph. I'm me, he says.
What? That's
Kingdom
got to be
Hearts,
Kingdom
Kingdom
Hearts.
Hearts.
right?
Sort of
Kingdom
like
Hearts
Roxas,
Chain of
right?
Memories.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm you. I'm sorry, I'm spinning this. What's this from? I'm you. I'm your shadow.
Oh, that's Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
It's pretty good accent.
Metal Gear Solid.
Good impression there.
I got all the recessive genes.
Metal Gear.
If you won't be a prisoner to fate, then go. Fulfill your destiny.
Metal Gear.
God, these all seem like Kingdom Hearts. There's a lot of destiny and darkness happening in Kingdom Hearts.
I think that's Kingdom Hearts.
Kyle?
Kingdom Hearts.
Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah.
I think that's Naomi at the end.
All right.
There are many worlds, but they share the same sky. One sky, one destiny.
Kingdom Hearts.
I think Kingdom
That
Hearts.
sounds like Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts 2. Good job. I remember you the way you... I remember you the way you remember me, and you remember me the way I remember you.
What the F?
Did I stutter?
I think that was just
No.
Dennis Dyack describing Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes.
I bet if you base
was a really good
everything,
joke.
Thank you.
If you base everything off of just that quote, you could probably guess the exact game this is from.
Kingdom Hearts.
Chain of Memories?
What's the dumbest name throughout both these series?
Oh, did someone write in with that question?
Oh, 343 over 2 or whatever.
Yeah, 343 over Bungie.
Coldman? Heat Coldman?
Hot Coldman.
Hot Coldman? That's got to be the dumbest between the two.
Well, I'm
right?
talking about like game names, but Reeves
Okay.
is right. That's Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days.
358 days over 2.
Thank you. Thanks to you, we've collected countless hearts. Just look there. Can you hear their euphoria?
It's
That's
gotta be
Kingdom Hearts.
right?
That's the sorrow in Metal Gear Solid 3. No, yeah, that's
Really?
Kingdom Hearts. That's Kingdom Hearts 2.
I thought maybe it might be that "Here's to You" song, like lyrics from
Oh,
that.
that'd be really
that'd
funny.
be really
yeah.
good.
Building the future and keeping the past alive are one and the same thing.
Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear?
Metal Gear.
Do you have a more specific guess?
Metal Gear
Say the
Solid
quote again.
3.
Building the future and keeping the past alive are one and the same thing.
Metal Gear
The
4.
original Metal Gear. Metal Gear 4.
Apparently, Metal Gear Solid 2.
Huh.
Oh.
You know, the work of art that
Oh, the
mankind
perfect
created.
work of art.
Oh, the greatest work of art of all humankind. Yeah.
And the challenge. It's fun to read this in a flat tone. Did you like my sunglasses?
That's gotta be
Metal Gear, right?
That's Metal Gear Solid. Oh, wait.
That's a Kingdom Hearts.
Not Kingdom Hearts.
Because that
is-
line seems too stupid even for Metal Gear.
No, that's Liquid Snake after he takes
Yeah.
his disguise
Oh, no,
off.
it's a Liquid
he
line,
asks,
okay.
Did you like my sunglasses?
Can you do it?
I don't think Solid responds to that, which he really should have had.
That is a dumb question. Why?
Speaking of which, The dumbest thing about it is that he's wearing a disguise just for talking to Snake over a codec. And so you can't see him. It's just in his ear. It's so dumb.
It's just for us.
By the way, I've been wearing sunglasses this whole time so you couldn't sound my voice.
Solid Snake just be like, all right, sure, okay, great job.
Well, what are you
did it,
wearing?
man?
Yeah.
Do they ever talk about like how he can like disguise his voice perfectly to match somebody else?
No.
That was
Master Miller
cut
is a
cut
real
out of
person.
Phantom Pain.
It should. It gets absolutely insane, especially because, does Liquid meets Miller in 5?
I don't think.
Right?
Yeah, they meet for sure.
Yeah, yeah, 'cause they're on the
like
base
hanging
together.
out on the
Yeah.
base.
Yeah, 'cause
Right,
they
right,
hate
right.
each other.
So it's weird. So like in theory, little kid Liquid was just like listening closely, like I've got a perfect ear, and I'm gonna get this Master Miller guy
Or
down.
the alternate version is that his voice was completely different in 5 and Metal Gear Solid 1, so he just did whatever he wanted, and Solid Snake was like, I guess this is his voice. I don't know.
So sad. It makes Solid Snake a sadder character. The fact that this person that he knows so well, he's just like, I think that's you on the phone. Let's roll. Who do I kill now, mystery voice? Like,
Follow these rats around. All right.
you got it, flora and fauna. You say? Okay, email of the week. What do you guys like?
I liked the which of these PS1 games will get re-released.
Oh, that's good. I
is
liked
good.
this versus that.
Yeah, I like that one.
Oh, the
good.
PlayStation one?
Yeah, I like this versus that.
God, I like that quote one a lot.
Quote one's really good too.
Yeah, the Nintendo
I won,
like
I think.
too. I think so too. Oh God. Yeah, the PlayStation 1 remake is timely. Doesn't feel like an impossible thing that we'd get that at some other point.
I mean, all three of us, I think, we're on board for that one, right?
For the PlayStation 1 remake?
Wait, what'd you? No, I was saying like I like this game versus that game.
Yeah, the
Yeah, that
PlayStation
one.
franchise, which are coming back. I like
Like
that one,
Infamous
too.
versus whatever.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I meant,
that
yeah,
one
the
is good, too.
franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah. JV, where are you leaning?
That one.
Franchise.
The
This or that?
versus.
All right, the verses. There we go. Oh, of course it is, you Southerner. That's Tyler from Leesburg,
Oh,
Virginia.
yeah.
Great.
This game was rigged.
Fly,
Congratulations to Robert E. Lee and everybody in Leesburg. We'll honor you on the big board. This will be fantastic. All right, podcastgameinformer.com. If you want to write it in the future, please do. Thanks. These are some great emails. Very smart. For now, ready for some game trivia?
Let's do it.
Back of the box. Here it comes. And welcome back to the Game Informer Show. We are going to get serious with a little game of back of the box trivia. I'm joined by my trusty sidekick, Ben Reeves, who's
Hey,
played this
how's it
game 6,000 times
I
at
think
least.
so. Yeah.
Oh,
On
I
my
see.
own.
The fix is in.
I'll
And
look
the
'em up.
voice of the resident dummy here, we have Jeff
Yeah,
Marchiafava playing this game for the first time.
Yeah, never played it
The
because I'm
M-
afraid because I don't read boxes.
No one reads boxes, but you know games.
No,
yes.
I don't know that either.
Well, you can't be
Now you're
feisty out
gonna
of the
expose
gate.
me.
Oh, God. We also have Imran Khan, also a first timer.
I'm ready to get serious.
Yeah, but we all know, Imran is a genius. And,
Oh, you're really hyping me up way too much. I'm going
and-
to fail miserably.
Plus, he can look stuff up on Google, and we wouldn't be able to tell.
Oh, that's
That's
right.
No,
All
no
right,
way.
Fix is in.
Yeah.
No.
We hear
We gotta see-
keyboards.
I understand what's happening.
Yeah, we got to see both hands. Oh, speaking of which, we should let you know, if you're the last person to guess, because you buzzed in by saying your name, Jeff Marchiafava. Have you listened to
Okay.
this?
Yeah.
Okay, so you buzz
But
in
I
by
don't know
saying
the
your name,
rules. Yeah,
everybody.
okay.
Everybody gets one guess. If you're the last person to guess, you are legally obligated to put your hands behind your head and say, I could get used to this.
Okay.
As
Got
I
it.
continue reading the rest of the prompt or not, your point will not count if you're the last person.
I
unless
gotta
you
say, just having listened to this in the past, it seems like Dan Tack doesn't do that.
And then he gets very upset about it. It is a confusing rule, but look, I wish there was some other way, but I didn't make up these rules. Here we go. Back of the box trivia. I
Okay.
went into Game Informer's Game Vault. I took pictures, which the Vault, by the way, has in theory every game ever made, something like that. And so I would take pictures of the back of game cases. I'm going to read these back. I'm going to omit key details so that it won't completely give it away. You buzz in by saying your name.
What are you going to say instead of the key details?
I'm going to say blank.
Okay.
I'm going to say Croc 2
makes sense.
for every key detail that I get rid of. Ready? Here we go. First to 10 wins. Fortune Hunter blank is lured back into the treacherous world of thieves.
Jeffem.
Jeffem.
Uncharted 2.
Jeffem out of the gate
Yes,
with
I
1
win.
point. Although technically among thieves. is
Yeah,
the full
well,
name. But look,
whatever.
I'll count it.
Okay.
Look, you're a rookie.
I could have said that.
You don't know what's
could've
happening.
added.
You
Do I
don't
get a
even
half a
know
point
where
if I
you're
give you
at.
the full title?
No, not quite.
I was just thinking like it has to be some Uncharted game, but he's lured back in every game.
I know,
So I
I
couldn't
know.
think of which one it was.
Yeah, especially 3 and 4. I think are just the same story, really. Okay, here we go. Drop in. Ride the massive open world of blank, where the powder is always fresh and the run
Imran.
never. Imran.
Steep.
Yeah, Imran Khan. There we go, boy. Steep. I think that's a PlayStation Plus game right now, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Full screen, 3D action, as you fight to rescue innocent hostages in a skyscraper wired to explode. Jeffem,
Die Hard?
I'll give it to you. That's the
Trilogy?
Die Hard trilogy.
Gosh,
There we go.
I was
going to
give you the full title.
Yeah, just say half the word next time,
Dang
Jeff,
it.
and we'll still give it to
Okay.
you at this point. Wow. Jeffem's at 2, Imran's at 1, Reeves is at. Hang on, there
I
must be a
think
mistake
that's a
here.
10, right?
Yeah, missing the 1. Here we go. Warp into the new special stage and dodge 3D enemy.
Ben.
I'm sorry, 3D. Ben.
Sonic 3.
Wow. How did you guess that specifically?
I was worried after you said enemy, but like the 3D, like
3D energy spheres.
yeah.
Wow, but I didn't even get to that part. I said just 3D enemy.
Yeah, I would have thought Sonic 2 actually.
Wow,
when you first started
Reeves.
it.
I'm very impressed.
You can also see your phone in the reflection.
Yeah, I'm cheating.
Oh,
yeah.
that's right. That's
Sorry,
right.
that's the reason.
Wow, here we go. Featuring the hit song After Me by Saliva. This is one intense action horror game. You got to play this one. Man, it'll blast you against the wall. That's a quote from John Carpenter.
Oh.
In the frozen wastelands of blank, a mysterious... Jeffem.
The Thing.
There we go. Jeff Archiafava.
We were way overthinking that one.
I know,
for it.
everyone is really overthinking it.
I was like, did Carpenter play some horror game?
I remember he had strong opinions on like Dead Space 3, or maybe we just talked to him about it in an interview or something.
Yeah, he's a gamer.
Yeah,
He loves Destiny. I know that much.
I think he's a fake ass gamer boy, if you ask me. Ready? Mario and Yoshi blast off into a new galactic adventure.
Jeffem. Mario Galaxy. Super Mario Galaxy.
Incorrect.
Mario Galaxy 2.
There we go. Did you buzz in with your name, Imran?
Ben.
I did. It just Jeff talked over
okay,
me.
all
Super
right.
Mario Galaxy 2.
Okay.
Hang on, Reeves, what did you say?
I said Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Oh my God, my phone's already in your name.
Yeah.
Way to go. Reeves got 1, Jeffem's got 3, Imran's at 2.
All right.
One,
You're
two,
getting
three.
cocky now,
Yeah.
Jeffem. Now you like this game.
Little
Now
too
you don't mind
relaxed.
coming out of the studio.
That's where I want you.
All right, see if this sounds familiar, folks. Evil waits below the surface. Something sinister lurks in the depths of planet blank 4. Hang on. Interstellar blank blank is the only one who can destroy this evil, but first, it must be found. Use all the technological upgrades of Blank's suit, including visors. Wield powerful weapons like Imran.
Metroid Prime?
Correct.
Oh,
Metroid
man.
Prime. That was tough.
I thought you said underwater for some reason. So it's,
well, the evil waits below the surface.
oh, that's where I was.
And Imran, as everybody knows, the final boss to Metroid Prime is
The Metroid Prime.
correct. It's very silly.
Right behind you on that Metroid standee, it says evil must be exterminated, but first it must be found.
Oh my
Really?
God! Of course, maybe that's why it sounds so familiar. Yeah.
Imran, did you see that?
I did. I've been cheating this entire time.
Okay.
Okay.
Vito Scaletta is making a name for himself on the streets of Empire Bay. He's someone who can be trusted to get a job done, together with his buddy
Jeffem. Mafia.
Incorrect.
Damn it.
Together with
Ben?
his Ben.
Mafia 2?
There we go.
God damn it.
So close. No one knows the Mafia better than Markia Fava.
Yeah, how are we supposed to know it's the second one?
Well, is the first one, did it star Vito Scaletta?
Who knows?
That's the game, man.
Does the M stand for Mafia? Jeff Mafia?
Mafia Fava? Fear the future. In blank, a new dark age has dawned. Enter the shattered world of post-apocalyptic blank and embark upon a terrifying journey to the heart of the underground. Brave the darkness of the tunnels, where mutants hunt their prey and ghostly spirits lurk. Explore the desolate city surface. Ben.
Metro Last Light?
Incorrect. Trusting your gas mask and gun to protect you from a poison... Jeffem.
Metro 2033.
There we go, confident lad. What were you scared of?
If that was the name of it or not.
Okay, if that was the year.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wait, which one's about to come out?
Exodus.
Okay.
Yeah. Reese's at 2, Jeffem's at 4, Imran's at 3. A new era of shoot and loot.
Ben? Borderlands?
Incorrect. Dang it. Get ready to joy puke your face off as one of 4 new blank.
Jeffem. Borderlands 2.
There we go, Jeffem.
I
heard you.
figured out the formula of this.
You're very close.
Don't be the first one.
The new era of shoot and loot was the
That's why I was
subtle
like,
hint.
oh, it's got to be the first one because it's a new era. But I don't know.
The best tactical multiplayer action on the planet. 9.5 out of 10 from Game Informer.
Ben. XCOM.
Incorrect.
Really?
Tactical multiplayer?
Oh, dang it. I don't know.
Intense solo campaign. Lead blank through deadly jungles, desert cities, and vast Arctic terrain on a mission to prevent World War III. Defining online warfare. Become the master of land, sea, and air on huge blanks designed for intense firefights and wide-open warfare. Jeffem.
Crap. Battlefield 3?
Incorrect.
Damn it.
Tactical destruction. Blast away at enemy cover, create new firing positions, and bring down entire enemy-infested buildings. Squad up. Fight as a lone wolf or in 4-man squads with up to 24 players in multiple game modes, including the all-new Squad Deathmatch.
You're saying this isn't XCOM?
That's it. Check your stats online at blank.com. Bonus downloadable content included. Bink video. 5, 4, 3,
Take a shot,
2,
man.
1.
I got nothing.
Wow. That is Battlefield Bad Company 2.
That sounds nothing like Bad Company, or what I think of when I think of Bad Company.
That was tough. I was. If you would have waited for the tactical destruction, I feel like that was the biggest hint that it was
No,
Bad
I
Company
was,
2 in
I was
particular.
just trying to figure out which Battlefield game we gave the highest score.
Oh, that's interesting.
But when you mentioned a player count, and if I had waited for that, I would have guessed older than Battlefield
very
3,
smart,
but-
very smart.
But they didn't mention like the characters in that at all.
No.
Yeah, that's
that
what I
was
was
the
thinking
thing.
of. Like,
No.
the characters are the main thing.
Nope. Also, rush mode was introduced in that one, right? And they didn't mention that either. It's weird.
Crazy.
I don't know if you guys heard. Every second is a story.
Wait, is this a new one? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Traveling to the towering blank to spread your mother's ashes across her native land. You find yourself caught up in a civil war to overthrow the oppressive regime of a ruthless dictator. Explore and survive this unfamiliar land, where unpredictable danger lurks around every corner. Sequel to the #1 rated shooter of 2012. Welcome to blank.
Wait, what?
Holy crap.
Diverse open world. A living world rich with discovery. Drop in, drop out co-op. Explore the open world of blank with a friend. Weapons, vehicles, and skills. Customize your approach for a new experience every time. Limited edition includes 3 additional single-player missions and the Impaler harpoon gun. Come on, you guys.
That sounds super familiar.
Sequel to the #1 rated shooter of 2012. I cannot read that again. I feel like it's very clear.
I just need the beginning again.
Okay.
Yeah, what was spreading your mother's ashes?
Traveling to the towering blanks to spread your mother's ashes across her native land.
Oh, Ben. Far Cry 4.
Correct. I liked how the toughest part of that was you trying to remember your own name.
Oh my god.
Like, Eureka!
I like that game. I just didn't remember any of that.
What's that, Imran?
I like that game. I didn't remember any of that description.
Yeah, the mother's ashes thing
Yeah,
is a
that
little
really threw
detail.
me.
Yep. Did you guys hear about this? Your enemies will define you. Prowl the streets of blank. Expand your arsenal. Equip the versatile blank and devastating shock gloves.
Ben. Now I gotta figure out which one it is. I want to say Batman Arkham Knight.
Incorrect.
Imran. Arkham Origins.
Correct. There we go. Explore the streets of Gotham City should have been the clue.
Well, you didn't say Gotham City.
Well, I know, but still, the idea that they'd say, "Hey, you're in the streets now." That seems like that'd be the tell.
Well, you said shock gloves, and those weren't in Arkham City.
I know. Never mind. I know, but the point is, did I say Arkham or Gotham?
Next one.
Anyways, I was about just to read the name of the game. Okay, here we go. Uncover the mystery of what lies beyond in a powerfully emotional journey through the remarkable life.
Imran.
What? Already?
Beyond.
Yes, there we go.
Oh, man.
Imran. That's Beyond Two Souls.
Ugh.
We'll count it. Through the remarkable life of Jodie Holmes. That was one where I felt like I don't even need to actually put Beyond. I don't need to beep that out at all. So Imran's at 5, Jeffem's at 5, Reeves is at 3. This is close,
Exciting.
boy. Holy cow. Only your choices determine who survives. When 8 friends,
Jeffem.
I can't remember the name of it either.
5,
No, it's right there.
3, 2, 1. Disqualified.
Damn it. I reviewed it.
When
right?
8 friends return to the isolated mountain lodge, where 2 of their group disappeared exactly 1 year ago. Imran.
Until Dawn.
There
Oh,
you go.
thank you, Imran.
Yeah.
Way to go,
Dang
Google.
it. Oh.
Here we go. Rumbles of revolt stir amongst the populace. Old enemies resurface, united in one goal, the complete destruction and ruin of blank and blank. Take control of the legendary hero, blank, with all his powers and skills, warrior, general, and guardian of blank. You are blank, the hero. 21 levels, including 4 submarine attack levels. Fight over 11 enemy types in bruising 3-dimensional underwater battles. Control blank's cybernetic morphing hook hand and telepathic powers. Pilot an attack sub in first-person mode as you defend blank.
Imran. I'm just going to guess Aquaman.
There we go, Imran.
what?
God, this is the Aquaman
Wow.
video game,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen. Wow, good guess, man. I like to make such a big deal about the subs. Like,
Yeah.
play
I was
fire
like, why would
game.
Aquaman use a
Aquaman
sub?
use a sub for?
Yeah.
Yeah, why does he need that?
When you're grasping at straws saying, we're kind of like a sub game, that's how you know you're in trouble with the
What are you
marketing.
talking about?
Prepare yourself. The #1 arcade hit is here. From blank, blank, and the rest of the blank warriors to the grueling endurance and intense mirror matches. Execute bone-shattering combos and ferocious finishing moves.
Ben. Mortal Kombat 2.
Incorrect. Defeat the half-human dragon, blank, and destroy the
Jeffem. Mortal Kombat 3.
Incorrect.
Damn it.
Destroy the shape-changing blank to become the supreme blank warrior. Shattering. Blank lives. Blank's shadow kick. All the blank warriors.
You only have like 10 other entries.
Blank's
Yeah, I was trying to think
fireball.
which one it could be. Imran, I guess.
Yep.
Mortal Kombat 4.
Incorrect. I was going easy on you guys. This is Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah. I figured it was
Wow.
like one of the originals.
Okay, here we go. Imran's at 7, Jeffem's at 5, Reeves is at 3. First, there was the disaster at the blank lab. Blank developed the blank, a mutagenic toxin for use in biological weapons. After breaking loose, living things mutated into all sorts of decaying creatures. The case was eventually closed, but Blank's experiments were far from over. Can you survive the horror?
Jeffem. Resident Evil 2.
There we go.
Oh,
Jeff
what?
Ruggiafava swinging in. Come on, Reeves.
Wow.
You got it. If the suspense doesn't kill you, something else will.
You know what I was going to
Say-
guess?
What's that?
The Blob. I was like, really? Sounds kind of right.
Can you survive the horror of THQ's explosion? Okay. Here we go. The Bridge.
The Blob.
Is that your name now? The Bridge is a lie. Enter the
Oh.
blank.
Did you say
Imran.
Blob?
Yes, Imran.
Portal bridge construction.
I'll give it to you. Bridge Constructor Portal. We'll give it to you,
All
man.
right,
Well done.
He's on his way, man.
They released boxed copies of that. Isn't
Did
that
they really?
crazy?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay, here we go. Lock and load. Become Ruby Malone. A gun for hire equipped with an arsenal of acrobatic moves, over-the-top sword kills, and dual pistols. Experience the freedom to shoot anytime, anywhere, in an adventure spanning 3 continents.
Imran.
Imran.
Rising Zan.
Oh, wow. No, incorrect. But I
Oh.
love that you went for it. Over-the-top acrobatics, fantastic aerial sword attacks, and high body count combined for the ultimate interactive action experience. If this sounds generic, there's a reason. Seamlessly blend 3 types of gameplay with a 360-degree slip aiming gun targeting system, sword fighting, and acrobatic ability. Experience the style of a unique retro film visual treatment with stylized characters and an original 70s-inspired soundtrack. This stage is definitely set for a great action video game, says Destructoid.
Is this going to be a game we've heard of?
Yes. Deep Cut. Published by Bethesda.
Oh.
Jeffem.
Oni?
Incorrect.
Are you done? Reading it
5,
off?
4,
I could get used to this.
2.
I'm going to guess No One Lives Forever.
Sorry, that's wet, ladies and gentlemen. That's wet.
That does sound familiar, yeah.
Once you said Bethesda, I'm like, there's only one game that they published like that.
I like that you included the character's name because you knew that
No
wasn't
one
good.
would know.
Nobody's going to know.
You telling me you forgot about Ruby Malone? Okay, here we go. Blank's nonstop action leaves us with racing pulses. Says Game Informer. Unclear who is left with a racing pulse.
Racing Pulses. Okay.
Unearthly special attacks and combos. Fight with katanas, shotguns, and more. Caught in the middle of an age-old rivalry, Blank uses her blank summoning powers to fight off legions of enemies. As she uncovers the astounding truth of her origins, she discovers she alone may hold the key to saving all of creation. Best action game of E3 according to 1UP. Unearthly special attacks and combos. Fight with katanas, shotguns, and more.
Oh, Imran.
Imran.
Bayonetta.
There we go. Imran. Killing it. Imran's at 9. Jeffem 6. Reeves at a paltry.
Is that right?
Oh, I'm sorry. It should be much higher than 3. You're right. No, it looks like it's 3. What is this game that I took? Oh, okay. Oh, boy. Step into the realm of fantasy.
Okay.
All right. I'm doing that now.
All right.
When a boy named Kutaro is magically transformed into a wooden puppet, he must obtain a pair of magical scissors.
Imran.
Imran.
Puppeteer.
There we go,
man.
Imran. Jeff, you reviewed Puppeteer.
What are you gonna do?
Hey, it's a classic Until Dawn situation. Imran Khan, ladies and gentlemen, takes it.
Good job,
Hey.
Imran.
First time out of the gate.
Good job cheating, dude.
Killing it. Just killing it.
Congrats.
Do you guys want to keep going with some
Yeah.
bonuses? Actually, we got close to the end, so there's not too many. There's a couple. The future is in your hands. Award-winning game maker Blank, creator of Blank and Blank, invites you to captivate your senses in one of the year's most anticipated games. Your moves literally create the game's visuals and soundtrack.
Oh, man.
Battle through one of the most visually stunning games
Jeffem.
ever created. Jeffem.
Rez.
Incorrect. Immerse yourself in a multi-sensory game experience like no other. Equip the Kinect for Xbox 360 sensor to take the immersion to all
Imran.
new levels. Imran.
Child of Eden.
Child of Eden. Way to go, man. Killing it. Mega City is in ruins. I'm sorry. Mega City 1 is in ruins. Corruption is rampant. It's time to take the law into your own hands. Armed with explosive lawgiver power, heat seekers, ricochet rockets, incendiary missiles, and more. Ben?
Crackdown?
No. Take on Mean Machine, the ABC robot, and other brutal barriers to justice. Take to the skies on your high-speed Lawmaster motorcycle and pacify even the most persistent perps. You're not above the law. You are the
Imran.
law. Imran.
Oh God, the Stallone movie. What was this? Judge? The Judge?
The
Incorrect.
judge.
I could get
I can't remember the
used to
name.
this. Jeffem is Judge Dredd.
Judge Dredd! There we
Yay.
go.
Thanks, Imran.
Way to go. All right, last one. For all the marbles. For the runner-up prize.
All right.
Your,
No, I clearly have the runner-up prize.
I guess
I'm
you're
like
right. I
twice
guess
as-
you're right. This is all bonus. Okay, here we go. Your hero, your adventure. Draw your very own game. Create and customize heroes, weapons, vehicles, animals, and much more.
Imran.
Imran.
Drawn to Life.
Drawn to life on the
There you go.
Nintendo DS. Way to
All I
go.
could think of was Drawn to Death, and that's very different.
Was that intentionally? No, that wasn't like a play on Drawn to Life, right?
Who
I doubt
knows?
it.
That was just confusing. There it is, everybody. Back of the box trivia. Hey,
All right.
thanks for playing.
Congrats.
Jeffem, thank you for not being a grump and coming down and having a good
That's
time.
right. That was fun.
God
Yeah, it was
bless you.
fun.
What else are you working on? Anything else you want to plug?
No.
You have a column that goes up all the time on our site, GameInformer.com.
Yeah.
It's very funny. It has
And-
something to do with humor.
I don't know. It went up last Friday.
What
so-
is it?
Funny to a point.
Thank Christ. What is it?
Yes. It's just stupid jokes. Last week, actually, this is important. I made up my own end of year awards because ours were so terrible. So
It's
very
just Jeffem
cathartic.
getting a way to vent about how
Yes.
much he hates Detroit Become Human. A game which he has not played, may I remind you.
history
anyone
will
really
be on my
played it?
side, good sir.
Sorry, was that Imran?
Has anyone really played Detroit?
I've finished it, but I don't know if I
Detroit
really
plays
got it.
you.
Absolutely. There we go. Fantastic. Jeffem, God bless you. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening to this episode of the Game Informer Show podcast. Be sure to tune in next Thursday. We'll have a new episode waiting for you.
Great.
Bye, everybody.